program that they've seen some relative success with, but it's always the low level. It's not the leadership people. You know what I mean? You physically have to kill them. There's just no way around it. Unfortunately, and that sounds harsh.
You have to ethnically cleanse the area.
That's exactly right.
It's what it is. It's dirty. It's ugly. People don't like talking about it. And in the spaces that exist, especially when it comes to the right, who have now turned on Israel, I look at it and say, are you just now getting to what it is to fight? We all watched a 20-year war on terrorism. It'd be...
Yeah, how are you confused about
what you're dealing with?
Yeah.
How are you confused about how this works? Now, why? And I wouldn't say that we won the war on terrorism. I certainly don't believe we lost the war on terrorism. But what was the whole idea? We had to take an ideology and destroy as much of it as possible and basically put it in a box so they wouldn't try anything on us for another 30 or 40 years. Israel is neighbors with these people.
Yeah, it'd be like if Tennessee, or South Carolina or Alabama was launching attacks into Georgia.
If I was to take, let's say Tug and I went down to pepper boxing, right down the road. All right, we went into pepper boxing, and here's what's on the line. I was like, Tug, if you win, you get to stipulate whatever you want about me. If I win, you have to stop being Christian.
Well, I don't know if I can do that. I don't think I could do it.
All right, you're asking Hamas to stop being militant.
Oh, I know.
You're going to ask them to stop being radicalized.
Yeah.
I'm asking them to suddenly stop what starts in their grade schools with 2- and 3-year-olds.
What's that little mouse thing that they had? I don't remember that. I don't remember the name of it, but it was kind of like a Mickey Mouse style cartoon, and they talked about how we're going to. And they showed it just like you're saying. It was almost like a PBS channel.
Yes.
And they would show this mouse going in and blowing people up in Israel and being celebrated, in his afterlife, being celebrated by his family. That's how deep this goes.
So I am optimistic as you are.
Hopeful.
But we'll see.
Yeah. No, you're exactly right.
It only take, as much as they were making the point yesterday, that Hamas is saying, well, we need to get some of our land back. We got to figure out where these hostages are. It's like, well, how many do you got? Well, we'll have to go ahead and look into it.
Yeah, we're not sure.
We'll find out.
Yeah, well, and that's the other thing. They've said that they will turn over the hostages that are alive, which is encouraging, it's good. But they've balked on turning over the bodies, which, I mean, this is terrible. It's horrible. Do you think they have those bodies? Do you think they've probably disposed of them in some? They're not just keeping them on ice for people.
No, I wouldn't imagine so, but I still think that there is a level of horror that would probably go along with that, where if the Israelis were to find out what they did to their hostages, anything can kick this thing right off.
Yeah, that's right. It doesn't take much of anything.
It's almost having to be reminded, you're in this battle where both ends have largely had to give up portions of their humanity to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not blind to that. I think that's absolutely had to happen.
And it had to happen in World War II, too.
And you've had the Israelis that you had the rest of the world being like, they're committing a genocide. I'm like, their neighbors are trying to murder them. I get they've gone to a very dark place. They have, absolutely. With that being said, I don't know how you turn that off so easy when you've been doing it for 2 years and then suddenly believe that your opponent that was willing to be so brutal towards you and is so dedicated from grade school on up to murdering you, you're suddenly able to find some sort of peace deal with them.
Yeah.
It's ideology that you're fighting.
That's right. That's right.
So we'll see, but I'm with you. I'm like, okay,
it's the closest that anything that we've seen in our lifetime.
From a news media standpoint, they can't stand it.
No, yeah, of course.
To think that this Trump administration might be able to get this thing done, that's all they care about. I'm talking about this at the huge different level than what they're talking. They're looking at it as like, Trump can't get a win. This sucks. We're in a shutdown. How does he keep winning?
The sad part is, I'm afraid and would not be surprised if behind the scenes when those microphones go off, they're hoping it doesn't work. They're hoping they go back at each other That's awful.
That's who they are.
Awful to think.
That's who they are.
But it is. You're exactly right, man.
And that's fine. The mask is off. We know this.
Yeah.
This isn't a surprise. This isn't it turns out they act real inhumane in a newsroom.
Or in text message.
Ooh, it's amazing. Yeah, when they text each other, we told you, this is how these people talk to one another. This is how your Aunt Peg and your Uncle Dave, that are all hardcore liberals, when they get around each other, this is the sort of stuff they say. I can't believe they're going to stop that war. Donald Trump might get a win out of that. Well, I hope they break that. I hope they kill for another 10 years.
Absolutely right.
Can't give Trump that win.
Crazy thing is, what was Biden doing the last 4 years? Well, he wasn't functioning. What was his administration doing in the last 4 years to even try to
Jack?
foster this? You know, yeah, exactly. He's there standing in the corner, talking to the wall, and the administration was busy infiltrating America with people that hate this country.
Such a strange factor when you do not have a moral compass other than just the obtaining of power. Then you're busy always having to look at a given scenario and say, all right, how do I get power out of that one? Because what really should have happened is, as soon as you had Hamas attack Israel, and at least we said and did the right thing, so we'll support you. All right, we'll put a carrier group out here. All right, we'll give you some weapons, whatever we need to. But then how did that not turn into, all right, we need to make a stronger push to get a peace deal done? Was the decision basically made that, hey, for the next 2 years, let's let Israel turn, the Gaza Strip into dust?
Yeah.
In order to show them, in order to let them have their security? It's interesting to see these deals getting done, which are largely economic.
And that's why.
And that's a big deal.
Right. That's the part of the hope. That's the reason I brought in Saudi Arabia and Jordan, too, because Jordan has so many of those Palestinian refugees from decades and decades and decades, and they're trying to build an economic powerhouse. And the same way with Qatar. So to your point about the economy and that new prince, the new crown prince in Saudi Arabia, like he's not. If you've seen Riyadh, it looks like a New York City style place. He's trying to build something.
Looks like Tokyo.
Yeah,
like high-end technological capital.
Absolutely right. That's why he doesn't want this raging, and they're always being fighting that's really close to him, that will affect him and will affect his country. That's the hope that I have, is that these Arab nations are going to put their thumb on this and push down the scale and say, no, we're not doing this because this affects me.
I'm interested to see if those nations get involved in the way that it's been discussed, which is, Hamas, you are no longer in control of this area. You're out. These groups are coming in. It's the rest of the Arab world.
An Arab force, a military force.
That are now, so that if you, and here's the problem with these people. The problem with the fanatics that you have when it comes to Islam is that when they blow up a market, and let's say they kill 3 Westerners, but they also kill 30 other Muslims, in their mindset, in their religion, in the fanatic end, it's, we just sent them to paradise too.
Yeah, everything's great. They should be thankful.
Thankful that this happened to them. Yeah. And so just because you have an Arab force that's going to be providing security doesn't mean these people stop being crazy.
By any means.
So we'll see. But I'm hopeful.
Yeah, it's fingers crossed.
But I'm also a realist.
Realistic.
Again, I'm Mayor of Realsville here.
Dude, you have to be.
We'll see.
100% have to be. But this is something that no one else has even gotten this close to. Donald Trump, this is a huge victory for Donald Trump. If this were to stick, and we're going to be old men by the time the part of the deal becomes a 2-state solution, because we know that's not even part of the early phases of this.
Let me get this straight. So a battle that has raged for 1,000 years, you're saying will be old men when it gets to 0.15 out of 20.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you.
It's down the road, man. And there's going to be so many, just like you're talking about, the blowing themselves up on the corner of a street. There's going to be so many of those things. And does that trigger, to your point earlier, does that trigger Israel will be like, all right, we're done with this. We've walked this path as much as we can. We've had it. And that's the thing. There's so many variables. It's impossible to know what the future is holding. But it is cool to see. And I don't know if you've seen this video, and even MSNBC showing it, surprisingly. They're chanting Donald Trump. I watched this video early this morning. The people in Gaza are chanting Donald Trump's name. And then, of course, in Tel Aviv...
I have lived to see strange things.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you. It's nuts.
But we've also... This has been a regular report that we've had, that the regular people, the regular Palestinians, have been looking to... How do we separate from Hamas, who dragged us into this? Now, is it a majority of them? I don't know, because they continue to vote for Hamas. Hamas was voted on by the Palestinians to be their representatives. They voted on a terrorist organization. So are we talking 20%? Are we talking 60% that now say these people are getting us murdered?
Yeah.
Like, why don't we have peace instead? I don't know what the number is.
Nor do I. And that's why this is so up in the air. That's why the silver lining is that we're hopeful we've stumbled upon something that Donald Trump has fostered. And it being tied to economics, I think that's the most important part of this.
That's the important part for the region.
Yeah, it is.
To get the rest of them involved. This is not going to be a United Nations peacekeeping force. This isn't going to be our boots on the ground and let's let the Americans have to patrol these streets.
No, thank you.
No,
we've had our fill of that.
We've done that. We're good there. It's like, y'all take care of your own here.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Says the Morning Xtra on Xtra 106.3. We'll continue the conversation throughout the morning. Glad that you're here, and thank you for that. 404-741-1230 at Xtra 106.3 across the social media platforms. Dr. Rich McCormick, U.S. Representative from Georgia's 7th District, joins us next on how to reopen the government on Xtra 106.3.
If you love 106.3, then you'll love the all-new Xtra 106.3 app. It's loaded with replays of your favorite shows like The Morning Xtra and The Kimmer Show, podcasts from conservative voices across the South, and access to Xtra's crystal clear live stream from anywhere in Georgia. Grab it now for Apple or Android.
Good morning, it's Los. Let's talk about True Prep. First off, where's the store? 1000 Cobb Parkway, right here in Marietta. Or you can go online, and that's where I'd like for you to actually start this morning. truprep.com. That's truprep.com. Because, yes, it's a little bit cooler outside, but the deals, they're warming up. See what I'm doing there? Isn't that kind of fun for fall? But here's the cool part about what's going on over at True Prep. Right now, they have their fall clearance sale. We're talking up to 66% off on their sale items. Why do you go to trueprep.com? Because you can always click right there. Their sales and clearance items, their sale items that will show you here's what is in store and here's what they're moving right now. Again, up to 66%. Hey, have you been talking about it? Maybe you have a young woman in your life who's looking to be a first-time firearm handler. Okay. True Prep is able to take care of you on that. That's one of the biggest areas that they have seen of growth. We're seeing it across the nation. Women who want to own firearms and have that security on them. Well, True Prep is not only going to sell you a new or used firearm, you're going to get that gun from them, but also they take care of you on the other end. What does that mean, Los? Firearm fundamentals for first-time buyers. Now, they had this going on during the summer. They're doing it again. It's actually going to be this Sunday, noon to 3, over at True Prep. What is it going to be for you? It's when you buy that firearm, they're going to show you how to handle it, how to take care of it, and again, how to be responsible with it. Go to trueprep.com. That's truprep.com. By the way, that class is free on Sunday, noon to 3. Go to trueprep.com. That's truprep.com. Prepare today for a worry-free tomorrow with True Prep.
This is Window Nation, your source for affordable replacement windows at the highest quality. So if your old windows have you boiling in the summer and freezing in the winter, you need the pros at Window Nation with installation precision and experience that are second to none. Their custom windows are guaranteed to be a perfect fit, and they're backed by the best warranty in the industry. Go to getwindownation.com or call 866-90NATION for your free estimate. And for a limited time, buy 2 windows, get 2 windows free, plus no payments for 2 years.
Faith, family, freedom. These are the cornerstones of America and the foundation for a successful life. But today, all 3 are under attack. Crushing debt, out-of-control spending, and reckless policies in Washington are threatening your savings, your retirement, and your future. Hi, this is Glenn Beck. The only financial advisory firm I recommend in Atlanta is Nicholas Wealth Management. David Nicholas and his team believe protecting your money is about more than wealth. It's about defending your faith, your family, and your freedom. If your hard-earned retirement is left exposed to market chaos, higher taxes, or inflation, what happens to the life you've worked so hard to build? For over 20 years, David Nicholas has helped families right here in Atlanta fight back with retirement strategies built to better withstand uncertainty. Call Nicholas Wealth Management today, 404-890-5606, or visit nicholaswealth.com. Aim to safeguard your future today.
Nicholas Wealth is an independent financial services firm that uses a variety of different investment strategies.
Saving you money, I'm Hillary Barsky. Many people want to retire early but aren't on track to make that leap, and there's several signs that you might not be there yet. Like you have a high level of debt. Your total debt, which includes housing debt plus auto loans, credit cards, etc., should be no more than 36% of your pre-tax income, according to financial experts. If you're struggling to keep your debt below this level, you may not be ready to retire. If you're currently spending more than you're earning, then you're not on track to retire. Retirees should have at least one full year's worth of expenses saved in a money market short-term CD or high-yield savings account. If you don't have that yet, you might not be financially prepared for retirement, or you don't have enough insurance coverage, especially when it comes to health insurance, which is crucial in retirement. Retirement should be a goal you're planning for and working toward, and there are many variables to consider so you can afford to make it happen. Saving you money, Hillary Barsky, Fox News.
This is House Call for Health. Some food and beverage products are getting a more natural makeover at PepsiCo, which owns various brands from Gatorade to Cheetos, and says it's working to replace its traditional artificial dyes with natural colorings. Some alternative dye options could come from vegetables like carrots or beets. PepsiCo says it's been working on the change for years as consumers' preferences have started to shift. Damian Brown is the PepsiCo Vice President of Beverage Research and Development.
So there's a lot to think about when you think about like end to end from material all the way to the product. But look, this is why we all went to college to become scientists and engineers. So it's a great opportunity for us to fix or to solve all these problems.
The shift comes as the Trump administration has called for an end to petroleum-based dyes in food products. PepsiCo says it's still testing new natural formulas for federal approval. For more health news, go to foxnewshealth.com. House Call for Health. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your Georgia headlines for Thursday, October 9th. The last of 10 inmates who escaped a New Orleans jail in May has been captured in Atlanta. Authorities say Derek Groves was found hiding in a crawl space under a house after a SWAT team gassed the property and utilized a police dog. The breakout was one of the largest in U.S. history. 9 other escapees have already been apprehended, and Groves' arrest marks the end of the manhunt. Delta Airlines has ranked near the top on Forbes' World's Best Employer list and was named the best employer in Georgia among more than 1,400 companies. The company says its employee benefits, training opportunities, and corporate culture were key factors in earning the recognition. And if you've got Joro spiders building webs around your home, the University of Georgia is asking you to submit photos to its Joro Watch website to help track their distribution and population. The invasive spider first appeared in Georgia in 2014 and can easily be spotted with their large webs and bright yellow bands. Today's weather partly cloudy and cool will reach 71 degrees this afternoon. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne for Extra 106.3.
Joined on the Morning Extra, Tug and Los until 10 by Congressman Rich McCormick, representing Georgia's 7th District. Dr. McCormick, let's talk about the government shutdown. I know there are people that are going to be hurting soon. And we've been, I don't want to say callous, but we've been a little bit like, I'm fine, shut it down. Just until we can figure it out, until the Democrats and maybe some of the Republicans get their head out of their backside, let's just shut it down until we can figure this thing out. Now we're starting to get to that point where the rubber meets the road, and you've called on both of the Democrat senators from the state of Georgia to come to the table and negotiate like y'all have been trying to do the whole time. And I recognize you're in Congress, but in the House, but you're reaching out to even senators from your home state to say, let's do this the right way on the behalf of people in Georgia and America.
Yeah, and let's face it, people are hurting even before this happened. If you look at the increase of premiums, I'm sure you guys, just about everybody in America knows how expensive healthcare is. It's the biggest cost to all Americans. And what we did during COVID, to pretend that we're helping people, we supplemented the Affordable Care Act. And we made sure that it was more affordable by increasing federal's portion of this payment. But it was never meant to be permanent. The states knew that when they took on the Affordable Care Act and expanded Medicaid essentially to more people. And they said, well, the carrot was that the federal government's going to help you, and then eventually we're going to back off, and then you're responsible for it. Well, this is the problem with a lot of people who take money from the federal government. They're like, yeah, that's never going to go away. And unfortunately, that's the truth. And that's why we're in the predicament we are with our debt. Because it used to be about 1/3 of all spending from the federal government was from the Fed, and then the other 2/3 from everything else, state tax and everything else like that. So now it's 2/3, and that happened in short order. And since 2004, there's been this parabolic shift in government spending that I don't even know how we're going to pay it off anymore. I mean, it's almost unrealistic to the point we're going to have to bankrupt our country and start over again, and that's on our kids. That's going to affect the rest of us for the rest of our lives. Just meanwhile, let me tell you what this $5 trillion industry is doing. This healthcare industry that we love and we hate at the same time. It's great, by the way. We have great results, but it's way too damn expensive. I mean, if you think about it, the amount we spend on healthcare alone is the third largest GDP in the world. The insurance profits, because they got involved in this, and that's the big problem that we have, because we hired the insurance companies to pay so they can manage all this, now are dipping their beaks in this and making tens of billions of dollars per year of profit. They make about 230% more profit than they did before the Affordable Care Act. Meanwhile, your premiums have gone up about 90% in that same course. Doctors make about 30% less. So where's all that money going? We know where it's going. It's going to profiteers, whether it be pharmaceuticals, PBMs, especially insurance companies, which make up 4 of the top 10 Fortune 500 companies in America right now, 7 of the top 20, I believe. This is a massive problem. And if we keep on kicking the can down the road and saying, oh, the federal government's just going to keep on paying for that, we are literally going to bankrupt the government, and the Democrats have no answer for that. They won't go through a normal budgetary process. And I know that's a lot to digest right now. I threw a bunch of numbers at everybody that's listening right now, but I need people to understand that just throwing money at something and printing more money is never the answer, and that's what we kept on doing for the last 20 years. It's not going to benefit the United States. It's not going to benefit your kids or the future.
Dr. Rich McCormick is our guest right here on the Morning Extra. He represents the 7th District right here in the state of Georgia. And I want to ask you about this, because I still remember 14, 15 years ago, the discussion point, especially on our side, was Obamacare is constructed to fail so that it eventually leads to single-payer healthcare system. And most of us who have ever seen what that looks like around the world would not be in favor of that. But it almost feels like we've reached that precipice of that's not the answer, but we've now created this system where every single one of these companies is feeding on what ends up being, 1/5 of our total economy?
And it's not even... the funny thing is, we have the worst of all situations, because not only are we going towards a single-payer system, but we have insurance companies in the middle of that, and they're making a ton of money off of this. It's not even a secret anymore. We had the Transparency Act expose where all the profiteering is going, and that's why people are frustrated with the insurance companies. But they're following the laws that we've made. We created this monster, and they deny about 1/3 of all claims, despite having electronic medical records, coders, scribes, doctors that stay hours after their shifts. Believe me, I know, because that's exactly what I was doing. And then sometimes some of the ERs are getting 40% denial rate. That's insane. And so you have to take them to court, and they dare you to do that because they know that a good percentage of you won't even bother because it's not worth it. And matter of fact, with Medicaid and Medicare, a lot of times it doesn't even pay the bill to begin with, and then you have to take them to court just to get the leftovers. I mean, it's a built-in failure, and like you guys said, it's already the Affordable Care Act was meant to fail the system, so we go to single payer. The problem is our single payer won't even be an efficient single payer. It'll be the worst of all systems. Not only will it be basically restricting access to health care, but it'll be the most expensive system you've ever seen and the most inefficient to boot.
Our guest is Dr. Rich McCormick, on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3 Tug and Los until 10. Call me cynical if you'd like.
Cynical.
Yes, because
I do it every morning.
Yes, because sometimes I am, and I don't want to be, Dr. McCormick. I don't want to be. I'm a glass half full in life kind of guy. Always glass half full. Until it comes to government and the way it operates and the people who are pulling the levers. Is this fixable? Because there's that bit of me that says it's not, because nobody's willing to do the hard work. No one's willing to. And I mean by and large. I know you're trying to. I know there's others that are trying to. But as a whole, our government doesn't seem to be very motivated to fix this.
Yeah, I'm a super motivated, glass half full kind of guy too. And the reason I got into this job and I gave up a much better paying job with a lot more vacation is because I thought I could make a difference. And I still reserve that hope because if we don't fight for it, what do we have? We have only cynicism and defeat to face. And Pluto put it best. He said, the problem with not being in government is that you're bound to be lorded over by your inferiors. And I really think that there's a lot of people who are well-meaning, but there's also a lot of people who don't do their homework and don't understand what's at stake. And they think because most people haven't been in government for over 20 years, at least as congressmen, they don't realize that just printing money doesn't work, because this is something fairly new, actually. 2004 is when this all kind of started, when we expanded Medicare dramatically under George Bush, by the way. This is a bipartisan problem.
Sure.
And we kind of got ourselves in a point where healthcare now is a third of our entire spending. And that's burdening us, and then about another third is from Social Security, by the way. So already 2/3 is spoken for, and we don't have a way out. We do have a way to get out of the Medicaid problem, the Affordable Care Act. First of all, it was supposed to be handed back over to the states. It is a state-run program. States have to be accountable. They can't just print money. They don't have their own currency. We need to hand this back over to the states like it was always intended to be, and then the states get to decide who's going to get this and how they're going to qualify for it. It's going to get rid of a lot of the waste, fraud, and abuse that we have right now, because nobody cares if there's waste, fraud, and abuse if you can print money. But if you're a state and you're like, well, I can't afford that, then actually you have to make some hard decisions about how they qualify and who qualifies for it and what the premiums are. That's really good decision-making at a lower level. The bigger the government, the less effective and efficient it is. And I always want to say we need smaller government, less. That's why the Marine Corps is better than the Army. Sorry, Ron, and all you guys out there. We have better quality control because we're smaller and we're more nimble, and we have to live on a smaller budget. That's kind of how a state compares to the national spending, and that's what we need to get back to, is 1/3 of the spending should be at the federal level, not 2/3, where there's great waste, fraud, and abuse and irresponsibility, and just this idea that we can just print more money and it's going to be okay. That's not going to work into the future.
Dr. Rich McCormick is our guest. He represents Georgia's 7th District. That includes myself and Tug, and so we're always grilling the man as far as how things are going on. I want to ask you about the shutdown, because every single poll that we've had access to, and then speaking to people even in the room we were in last night at a political event, it feels as if the messaging coming from the Republicans is really resonating. And I think part of that is the distrust of the media, that this is largely being done so that the states that are spending the crazy amount of health care on illegals get reinforced with taxpayer dollars. And I believe that when the media is frustrated right now saying, why aren't people blaming Republicans like they have in the past, that doesn't seem to be happening. Are you feeling that as well?
I am, and it was funny. There's a lot of denial in this. I was on CNN the other day, and they were trying to reverse the polls. And I'm sure the polls are kind of like statistics. There's lies, there's damn lies, and there's statistics, as Mark Twain once said. And you can kind of spin it however you want based on how you ask a question. As a matter of fact, I remember when CNN was panicking on his show, I try to watch everybody, try to get an idea of what people are thinking. And they were worried about the polling. And then somebody came on and said, oh, no, it's the way we're phrasing the question is to benefiting the Republicans. But if you phrase it this way, and that's the problem, is in that echo chamber, Schumer has backed himself into a corner. And he believes that he's on the right side of history, that we're evil people. And this is why they call us Nazis, and that's why people get assassinated like Charlie Kirk. is because they demonize us. They make us the bad guys, and they're not having a heart-to-heart with themselves. They're not understanding the realities that we face, that they don't have answers. Their only answer, and I'll ask them straight up in a debate. I'll ask them face-to-face. I'm like, well, where do you think you're going to save the money? Where are we going to get back in balance? They're like, well, we're going to get rid of waste, fraud, and abuse. Okay, but every time I bring up anything wasteful, fraud, or abusive, you guys say, no, we can't do that. So it's the self-licking ice cream cone that I hate, which is they just keep on printing money and saying we're going to buy more votes, and we have no ends to justify the means. And I'm really fearful that America will buy into that because it's much easier to say, I'm going to give you something free than it is to explain for 5 minutes why it's not free and why it's not going to be beneficial to you.
But don't you think, Dr. McCormick, that most Americans realize that nothing is free? Now, if you know, with illegal immigrants that are coming across the border or were at the time during the Biden administration, you could probably convince them because America's the land of milk and honey, and of course, you know, it's going to, when I get there, it's going to be free and it's going to be taken care of. But actual Americans, and I mean that is people that have come here legally and come here the right way and are trying to do the best they can to earn a living, raise a family, be a part of the fabric of this country. Don't you think that they see through that? Because it does look like Harry Enton, you speaking of CNN, we played a clip from him this morning where he was talking about Donald Trump campaigning on the things he did and then now are delivering it. And the polls are showing that he is appreciated more because of that. And I'm tying those together because I think most Americans realize that nothing is free. And you're seeing minority communities. Newsweek had an article saying that there's a surge in black voters for President Trump because they are seeing through that mirage of everything's free. We can just print it. It'll always be there and available for us. People aren't buying that. They know better. You can't do it. I can't do it. Nobody can do it. It's not real.
And I think when you nailed a bunch of things, and I think the Hispanics who are here see the Hispanics coming over the border as trying to take their jobs, and so they understand that. But what happens is, and this is the fickleness of our public. Remember, George Bush was one of the most popular presidents ever during the war, and as soon as the war had trickled down, he became one of the most unpopular presidents. It can happen overnight. And what happens is once you shut off the border, you did the right thing, and the Latinos are all happy that they're not getting competition, and they believe in the conservative values we do, and they understand all the things you just said. But then when they see friends of theirs who are deported, who have been here for 30 years, who are maybe owners of businesses, or people who were here on a visa who didn't get renewed because of politics or what they perceive as politics, and they get deported. And you could be here from India, Africa, Korea, South America, whatever, being a upstanding person, and all of a sudden you're gone. You're going to see some of that Latino vote change in this next election. I guarantee you. I'm keeping my finger on the pulse. We do have a shift in male African Americans towards Trump, and I think that'll continue. I think the black population, and by the way, Georgia has the second largest population by percentage, only to Mississippi, and second largest in population, only to Texas. And I think it's about 31.3% approximately of the population. So it is important to have this debate. And as you guys know, I'm a Morehouse guy, right? So I taught at Morehouse and Spelman and Clark Atlanta and Morris Brown before I went to Funk. I was student vice president at Morehouse School of Medicine. So the black population is extremely important to the future of Georgia, and explaining what's going to benefit that population is going to be the big debate of the future. But there is a lot at stake here that can turn on a dime when the economy, let's say we start seeing inflation and people are hurting, and maybe some AI jobs are being replaced because of the expansion of this new super technology. There's going to be people hurting, and that can change in a heartbeat. So we have to be careful that we control the message very, very succinctly, that people understand what's at stake and how to best approach this.
Dr. Rich McCormick, representative of Georgia's 7th District on the Morning Xtra. Dr. McCormick, thank you for your time. We always enjoy when you're on and allowing us to ask the questions that we really want the answer to.
And we look forward to interviewing you in person on June 14th, 2026. Hopefully the South Lawn of the White House before the big UFC event. We're just keeping that in mind. Sliding that in once again.
We're working.
We have a date, though, now, finally. So that's
right.
very cool.
That's going to be fun, though.
I love it. The biggest sports event of all time. I think it is going to be the most epic. I mean, if I don't get invited, they're going to put me in a closed room with a pad. This is going to be amazing. And I appreciate you guys. You guys are truly insightful and curious at the same time. And I really appreciate what you guys do for the community. I really do mean that.
Thank you, Dr. McCord. We appreciate it. Have a great day, man. Thank you. Tug and Los until 10. Los still he's working it, trying to get us in, get us some credentials or something.
Can't score if you don't shoot, right?
That's
shoot or shoot.
That's right. I know what Kobe Bryant said. Was it Kobe that said that?
Was it Jordan? You miss 100% of the shots you don't
that's
take?
it. Yes, that's exactly what I'm thinking. Yes, that's what I was thinking. Jordan, yes.
I believe that's Gretzky.
Was it Gretzky?
Michael Scott, actually.
Yeah. Whomever. Somebody said it.
One way or another, we're getting it done.
We're getting it done.
Winners win.
Now, speaking of MMA, because Megyn Kelly went full MMA on Joy Reid. Can't wait to play that audio for you next on Extra 106.3 Tug and Los until 10.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Thursday, October 9th. From the Major League Baseball playoffs, the New York Yankees are done as the Toronto Blue Jays took Game 4, 5-2, the final last night. Series still in action. The Tigers and Mariners are now tied at 2 games apiece, going to a series-deciding Game 5 after a 9-3 win yesterday afternoon for the Tigers. That series will conclude tomorrow. The Phillies, they'll see another day. They beat the Dodgers out in L.A. last night, 8-2, the final. Game 4 begins this evening at 6:08. The Cubs, they're alive as well after a 4-3 victory over the Brewers. Game 4 will be tonight at 9:08. And from the NFL, the 1-4 New York Giants host the 4-1 Philadelphia Eagles on Thursday Night Football. That'll kick off at 8:15. With their sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Man, I got to tell you, I walked out of the house this morning. I was like, oh, I'm glad I got sleeves on. And I look at, my watch got the little temperature gauge on there. It says it's 63 degrees outside. It don't feel like 63 degrees. It's a different 63 degrees this morning. Fall's in the air. Central Heating and Air Conditioning is making it the perfect time to upgrade your comfort for a limited time. $2,100 in rebates and 60 months, 0% financing with approved credit. You get the savings up front. You get the no interest for 5 full years and a brand new carrier system from Central that delivers dependability, efficiency, and comfort for your family. And who doesn't want that in their house? Who doesn't want everybody comfortable? Because then most of the time, if you ain't real hot, you ain't real cold, everybody gets along. Everybody's comfortable. Everybody's where they need to be. Carrier and Central have set the standard for heating and cooling for over 3 generations, and now your chance to bring that comfort home with the best savings of the season. Dual incentives, they don't come around often, so make sure you act today. Call Chuck and his team. Yes, Chuck is a real person. It is a small business. Many of the HVAC companies in Atlanta have been sold and bought out by private equity. They still use that local name, though. They want you to think they're still a local company. They're not. Central is. 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com.
While fall temperatures are cooling down, the action in the stadium and on the field is really heating up. If you find yourself in hot water from too much celebrating during the game, it's important to know who to call. Call A Second Chance Bail Bonds. We handle bonds for those at the bends to those who celebrate action between the hedges. At A Second Chance, we can have you or your loved one out of jail in a matter of hours. Call A Second Chance 24/7 at 404-BAIL-OUT. That's 404-BAIL-OUT. Or online at atlbail.com.
Everyday life moves fast. Schedules fill up and time slips away. But somehow we always make time for what's important: faith, family, and fun. And for many of us, that includes our four-legged friends. They've been there through it all. The tail wags when you walk in the door, the gentle comfort on a tough day. That's love. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black here. And at Rough Greens, we believe your dog deserves the same love in return. That's why we created the blend of live nutrition that your pup needs. Vitamins, minerals, probiotics, phytonutrients, enzymes, all designed to help your dog feel, move, and live better. Rough Greens is not a replacement for your dog's food. It's what's missing from your dog's food. It's quick and easy. Just sprinkle Rough Greens on their food and watch them come to life. Healthier, happier, and ready for more time with you. Fetch your free Jumpstart trial bag for your dog right now. Just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. Use promo code TIME. That's RUFFgreens.com. Promo code TIME.
It's October 9th, and this is your Fox Daily Snapshot. Today is World Post Day. It celebrates postal services. The Universal Postal Union began in 1874 when it was established by the Treaty of Berne to help establish postal policies. Also on this day, in 1992, a meteorite crashes into a Chevy Malibu in Peekskill, New York. It looked like an ordinary bowling ball-sized rock. It was extremely heavy for its size. It weighed about 28 pounds. Dying on this day in 1974, Oskar Schindler, credited with saving 1,200 Jews during the Holocaust. Steven Spielberg directed and produced the movie Schindler's List. It won 7 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. Born on this day in 1940, one of the legends in music history, co-founder of the Beatles, John Lennon. I'm CJ Papa, and that's your Fox Daily Snapshot.
Stream Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, Glenn Beck, Fox News, and even NASCAR on Sundays, anywhere on the Extra 106.3 app. Download the app now and get 24/7 access to the live stream, the latest news, and everything you need to know about Atlanta's only conservative talk station. Download the Extra 106.3 app for Apple or Android and check out even more great original content at thepodcastpark.com.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra at Extra 106.3.
It's like an echo in here.
I don't know. Well, what happened was, is it's, so early.
You were fired up.
I just didn't turn on my mic. So I said it the first time, and then it was just went nowhere. I was like, well, wait a minute. I didn't say anything.
I was just concerned because I had just gotten ready to turn mine on. I'm like, they're going to find out. I better try and keep it off here.
So that's what the echo in the room is all about.
It happens.
Once in a while. I bet you can do sometimes. MMA, you and Dre both dialed into MMA. I don't know much about it, but I recognize.
Why don't you let Dre put you in a rear naked choke? Just to see.
That sounds awful.
Hold on. Hang on a second. I know what that means. Do you know what a rear naked choke is?
Have no idea.
We'll have our clothes on.
Yeah, it's not naked.
Okay,
it's not naked.
That's why I said
no.
Yeah.
But it
I want to make that clear.
It is the kind of move that makes immediately Tug be like, why do we got to get naked?
Yeah. That's the first. Let me tell you, I don't know anything else you said except naked. And that's why I rejected it immediately. I don't want a part of that.
Because had I said, well, we'll get you in half guard, you'd be like, okay. That doesn't sound anywhere near as dangerous as rear naked choke.
No, but that's not fun either.
No.
You don't want that.
You don't want to be in half guard.
I tell you, man, those dudes are unreal. What they're capable of doing, and the fact that somebody wants to do it is, because I don't want to do it.
It's fascinating to watch because they're experts in a multitude of fields.
Yeah, a whole bunch. Jiu-jitsu and then street fighting or something.
And speaking of street fighting, walking around these days, with the popularity of MMA, you really got to watch your P's and Q's.
Yeah,
because
there's people that train.
And it's dudes who don't look like they would be tough. They'll wrap you up and tie you up in a knot.
Well, think about that, Los. When you go, if you see a group, which I don't know how you would know, but if you run into a group of guys that are Navy SEALs, they are very unassuming. They don't look like a group of people that are musclehead, but much like you're describing, they will tie you in a knot and then leave you there in pain and walk away like nothing happened.
So the audio we played yesterday from Rogan's podcast, when in the last couple of days they talked about Second Amendment and transgenderism and what Kamala Harris claimed that she was going to do or wouldn't do in reference to his show. Well, his guest was Jack Carr, and he's a former SEAL, and he's the guy who does all the shows on Amazon. And he talked about when you get into Bud's training, he's like, first off, it's 80% washout. It's like, that's just what it is.
Ringing the bell.
And he made a really good point, and I hadn't thought about it until Jerry brought this up when he says, watch yourself on the street if you get a little lippy. He said so many of the elite athletes are treated like Ferraris as young kids. It's like, so by the time that suddenly they're now in buds, it's like the rest of us that got treated like old Chevys, and now you're treated like an old Chevy. We don't have a problem with it.
That's right. It doesn't, all the screaming and hollering.
The D1 athlete who was like a great athlete who always got taken care of, Jerry, they're like, hey, that's new to them.
You talk about that washout rate and ringing the bell. They say that when you talking to guys who are going through buds, when you get there, look around. Pick out the guys who look like the best athletes and everything.
They're the first to go.
Yeah, because they don't care. I mean, yeah, you got to be fit, but they're not looking for the best athletes. They just want somebody that won't quit.
That's right.
And that's the deal. He pointed out the guys that were taking care of his athletes, that the wide receiver you couldn't touch,
sure.
the quarterback you couldn't touch. Yeah, it's like, oh, it's going to be different.
Navy SEALs weren't any of those things.
They're going to do that.
They were just brawlers. They were just guys that, like Jerry said, guys that will not quit. And they have that mental toughness that most people do not possess. And that's the thing. They'll tell you that it is, 80% mental, 90% mental, 10% physical. I don't believe that, by the way. I've watched the documentaries on buds. I've known, 5, 6, 7 people that have, maybe more than that have gone to buds, and none of them made it. And I thought 1 or 2 maybe would, and they did not.
All right, I'm going to play this fun piece of audio for you before we end this hour because it's too much fun. Speaking of like people that don't wash out. All right, so now that Joy Reid does not have a show, it's not even a significant amount of downloads for what her stature is, for what she's doing, now away from network. It's amazing how many people are now like, yeah, she ain't that talented, she ain't that good. Why don't you take a listen to Megyn Kelly? Yeah. This woman decided to go no holds barred on her.
Joy Reid is an insane lunatic who's truly, honestly, extremely racist. She's never seen a white person who she likes. The only 100%. People who have a possibility of being liked by Joy Reid, if they're white, are people who will openly subjugate themselves to her, tell her how smart she is, tell her they believe her Harvard degree was real, and pretend that, they're somehow less than because she's the be all end all, because that's what she wants us to believe. So if you don't go along with those lies, she doesn't like you. It's why she likes Nicole Wallace, people like that. And Joy Reid is going to fail in the independent lane because she's too toxic. Just why doesn't she ask her little buddy Tiffany Cross, the equally racist person who is at MSNBC, who failed as well when she tried to launch a podcast and go off independently? It's not going to go well. And that's what happened to Joy Reid. She was super racist, and NBC had enough of her and said, we cannot be attached to this person any longer.
Do you realize how dead your career has to be to have somebody like that flame you in that way? Dude. Like there's people that I worked with 5 years ago that I would never say anything about on air just in case we might end up at the same station or same group or who knows when.
Megyn has zero fear.
No.
Megyn is so hot.
She looks at Joy Reid. It's like there is no chance that you'll ever be back in any sort of prominence because of how racist you are.
And I think she's right.
I think she's right.
There's like, who's going to hire that woman? Who would, if you're too crazy for MSNBC, you're too crazy.
I mean, Keith Olbermann got chance after chance, and every time.
And he's that kind of crazy.
But he's also that kind of brilliant. He's now absolutely nutso. Like, stay in the apartment, grow the fingers long, hair long, don't take a bath kind of crazy. Like, he looks like he needs a flea dipping. But the dude kept getting hired by one network after another because they're like, maybe they were wrong about him over at Current TV.
Keith Olbermann's going to be working out of Sprouts wearing a mask real soon.
Yes.
But a flea dip. Dude, that is so vivid. Did you grow up doing flea dips with dogs?
You know how dirty you got to be to get a flea dip.
Man, my Aunt Shirley used to do flea dips for all of her dogs, and we'd, the family bring over the dog. Dude, that is that kind of filthy.
You got to be like street crazy.
Dude. Dirty. It's amazing. And Megyn Kelly, she could shoot. That's a date to Waffle House for sure. When we come back on Extra, the difference in Republican anger and Democrat anger. No, they are not the same. Next on Extra.
is only live on Extra 106.3, bringing you daily commentary on the biggest topics of the day. Catch him throughout the day or hear his latest on the Extra 106.3 app.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S, ethos.com/Mike.
Donald Trump's America.
President Trump's says an epidemic of left-wing and Antifa-inspired violence is escalating.
These are agitators, anarchists, and they're paid. And you'll find that out. You'll be finding it out very soon.
Last month, the president designated Antifa as a domestic terror organization, directing federal agencies to disrupt operations and individuals funding them.
Probably some of the people I know, some of the people I dine with. But if they do, they're in deep trouble.
At a roundtable this week with independent journalists documenting riots in Portland, Oregon, and elsewhere, President Trump accused news outlets of ignoring Antifa.
If you give a great answer, they don't put it on. If you give a horrendous answer, or even if you give a great answer, they make it sound like it's not a great answer. They're very dishonest.
The president has been blocked at court, at least temporarily, from deploying National Guard troops to Portland. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
The Dean's List with Janice Dean.
Strangers who got together to help a boy replace his stolen wheelchair in Utah makes today's Dean's List. 11-year-old Axton Bird has a rare genetic condition that causes stiff joints and weak muscles, making it difficult to walk long distance. He couldn't afford a wheelchair a few years ago, so when someone donated one, it meant everything to his family. Unfortunately, that wheelchair went missing, and the family was devastated. Thanks to the local Fox affiliate who shared his story, their community got together with several charitable organizations, and within just a few days, Axton had a brand new wheelchair. Not only that, but money was raised to help the family with other needs and expenses. Axton's dad, Jason, says he's almost at a loss for words after seeing the outpouring of support. He says to watch our son have the independence and mobility that he deserves and have such a really awesome and cool wheelchair that he can grow into and have for many years to come means the world to our family. Janice Dean, Fox News.
The Morning Extra. Glenn Beck, Clay and Buck, and The Kimmer Show on WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. Extra 106.3.
This is a Fox News alert. It's a peaceful day in the Middle East. I'm Dave Anthony.
The real key is President Trump. He's the one that made this happen.
U.S. Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee on Fox after Israel and Hamas agreed to phase 1 of the ceasefire plan for Gaza.
If something goes sideways, it's going to be a surprise to everyone because this right now looks like a done deal.
And the president tells Fox's Hannity.
The big thing is hostages are going to be released. It's probably our time would be probably Monday.
And the families of the hostages put out a video.
We will not stop fighting until we see the last of the 48 return to their family. Those who were murdered in captivity, buried in the land of Israel, those who are still alive, walking through the border.
And Fox's Steve Harrigan reports from Tel Aviv.
Only then will the Palestinian prisoners, 250 of them serving life terms, be released. Challenges still remain in the longer term. Israel wants Hamas to disarm. Israel wants to make sure Hamas will play no role in a future government of Gaza. Those points still to be worked out. But President Trump invited to address the Knesset Sunday.
That's the Israeli parliament. No confirmation yet from the White House that the president plans to go there. The funding fight continues in Congress, so the government is shut down for a 9th straight day. And while hundreds of thousands of federal workers remain off the job, those deemed essential still have to go but won't get paid till there's funding.
And so my message to the air traffic controllers who work for DOT is show up for work. You have a job to do.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, air traffic controller sickouts have delayed thousands of flights since Monday and another 500 plus this morning. 2 Pennsylvania state troopers are in the hospital recovering after a shooting following a chase on a highway after a burglary. The suspect who shot at them was killed in return fire. America's listening to Fox News.
It's Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and LifeLock is here with tips to help protect your identity. Use strong passwords, set up multi-factor authentication on your accounts, report phishing, and update your software on all your devices. And for comprehensive identity protection, LifeLock is your best choice. LifeLock not only alerts you to suspicious uses of your personal information, but also fixes identity theft, guaranteed, or your money back. So stay smart, stay safe, and stay protected with a 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use the promo code BECK. Terms to apply.
You ever wonder why Verizon charges twice as much as Pure Talk for the same basic service? Think it might have something to do with the fact that Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion. That's billion with a B. Yeah, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. That's why they can offer unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Save an additional 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say the words Micro. That's pound 250, Micro.
You may have seen the Bortz billboard all across town. Let everyone know Bortz is back and his new home is Extra 106.3.
Thank you for being here. Good Thursday morning. What you don't know about Thursday is that Carlos has come up with a description for Thursday. And if you're a longtime listener of the show, you've probably heard it. But if you're one of the new members of the Morning X Club, and you're a new Extra fan, maybe you were at the Kelvin King event and we met you there, and that's the reason you're coming in, or somebody's handed off the Extra 106.3 app, and you're like, I'm new to the Morning Extra, but I love it. I dig it.
I'm gonna try these guys.
Give these guys a try. Thursday is a very special day here because you're right around the corner from Friday. But Los's description is so good. If it's one of those, if you know, when you hear it, because we don't always explain it. Sometimes we just let it be. And if you know, you get it. If you don't, you don't. We're going to explain it right now real quick, though, for you. Why Thursday is so freaking amazing.
I just want you to know, like, for instance, Sweet Donna out there, I'm glad this doesn't make sense to you. I am so glad.
We met Sweet Donna at that event. She's part of the group that's putting together the Veterans Memorial here in Cobb County.
In fact, when I go to bed tonight and I say my little prayers, there's going to be that moment where I'm like, I really hope I didn't mess things up with Donna. So I'm referring to it, and I have been for quite a while, as Stripper Thursday.
That's right. It's almost to the weekend. You can almost touch the weekend, but you can't.
You can't touch.
You cannot touch.
You're so close to the weekend, but you can't touch it.
That's right.
You can look at it.
So when
it's not there.
When you hear Stripper Thursday.
It's looky, no touchy.
That's right.
All right?
When you hear Stripper Thursday, now you know what it means.
It doesn't mean anyone's taking off clothes.
No.
This is not Kimmer's show.
No.
He goes topless.
Tattletales. That's exactly right.
I had a buddy of mine. So, by the way, Potty, happy 14th wedding anniversary. Him and I were texting back and forth last night.
What's his name?
Well, his name's Patrick.
Oh.
But he's so Irish, we call him Potty.
I love that.
And in fact, his last name is Higgins, but we added an O years ago, so we call him Potty O'Higgins. So his wife and him have their 14th wedding anniversary today. And the reason why I was laughing about this, he goes, so I've been listening to you every morning. And I'm like, good. And he goes, I'm really glad that before y'all deal out the truth medicine, y'all have some fun.
Okay.
I was like,
news.
okay, good.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like, thank you.
Patio, we're glad that you're here, man.
Yeah,
I can't wait to meet Patio.
Sorry about the Yankees.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah.
And he's got to endure the Giants tonight.
Oof.
Yeah, it's gonna be a rough one.
Yeah.
I hope they make it a game on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah.
Where's the Giants playing?
They're playing the Eagles.
Oh.
A lot of fun, right?
Yeah, buddy.
We just got beat by the Saints.
Yeah.
Now we get the Eagles.
Yeah. The mortal enemy of the Giants. And I know that because my father-in-law, who's amazing, is a Yankees-Giants fan. So now he's the type of fan that most people love, I believe. Like, he's not a, Yankees, I'm trying to rub it in your face. He's not that type of fan. He's like, our team sucks. I mean, it doesn't matter what is happening. They could be winning 30-0, and they suck. It's not good enough. He's the type of fan I love.
That was my friend Potty last night.
Yeah.
I think my response back to him was, I think all of New York is trying to hurt you. It's all of his teams.
Yeah, they're focused on tearing you down.
How can I hurt you?
Yeah, that's right. I'm going to continue to punish you for loving me the way you do.
And he's another one of those New York State guys. So it's real.
Okay, so he's not. Is he?
But that's the deal. Like, well, he grew up and family and everything else are all Yankees and Giants fans.
I know. It's my wife and her family. I know. I'm married to it, so I get to see it up close.
Gross.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just gross.
I had no idea at first. And, I was just a whole kid from Georgia. What did I know about people from New York?
Then you found out.
And then I found out. Lord. But like I said, father-in-law's great because it doesn't matter how good they are. They suck. And my daddy was the same way about the Braves. He always called them the Amazing Braves. They would win as Amazing Braves. If they'd lose, it's the Amazing Braves. Just the inflection, you could tell which one that he was calling. But it didn't matter what they had done. It didn't matter how many how many games on a streak they'd won, or how many World Series, or how many pennants, playoff appearances. They suck. Always.
Jerry, did you notice that every time he talks about his father-in-law, he winks at us first?
Well, no, I don't. No, I didn't. No, that's not true. That's not true.
I can't see that eye.
No, yeah.
He's like, my father-in-law, who's the greatest thing since sliced bread, a giant wink. And then he starts saying things. What he's saying.
So he's a Giants fan. Does he call the Eagles commies?
Yes. He calls anything that he doesn't like commie. Because we've talked about this before, how that was a thing for so many years. Now we actually are dealing with communists, and it's... I don't know how they came along, but yeah, that was the joke on everything. If the sandwich was bad that you brought him from whatever the restaurant is, stupid commie sandwich.
My wife wants a Washington Commanders, whatever, the Redskins.
Yes.
She wants a shirt that says, F the Cowboys and them hoe-ass Eagles. That's the shirt she wants.
Quality, right?
I was like, all right.
That's quality.
Now, it doesn't say anything about the Giants because, don't worry about the Giants.
Nobody's worried about the Giants. That's right. Anyway, welcome to the show. This is kind of what we do, and then we talk about the things in the world that matter, and give you a front row seat to opinion and conversations about
like day 9 of the shutdown.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Talking about that.
Which, if you haven't noticed, and judging by the attendance, you haven't.
You haven't.
Like, not a whole lot of people. MSNBC wrote it for like 3 or 4 days. Now all they're giving you is baseball and deal with Israel and Hamas.
Yep.
They aren't even talking about the shutdown any longer because the numbers continue to hurt them. The polling continues to only hurt Democrats. It is the damnedest thing I've ever seen in my lifetime in terms of what happens with a shutdown. Every time there's been a shutdown or a potential shutdown, the Republicans get blamed, and then they they get blamed, and then they cave. They're not doing that this time around. The polling's working out for them.
I love that they have a spine. Finally, I've been asking for Republicans to have a spine for as long as I can remember my entire adult life. Finally, they have a spine. I'm happy that Republicans are standing their ground, not bending over backwards for the Democrats like they normally do.
You know what it is? It's the primary issue of this shutdown. The one thing they're pointing to are 2 matters that are completely unpopular when it comes to the Democrats and are always in our sights. What are you doing with immigration in terms of money going to illegals, and what are you doing with health care? And considering that they will tell you for years when they thought that the Affordable Care Act was a good thing, you'll remember no Republicans voted for it.
Right.
Well, no Republicans voted for it. And now your health care system is a total mess.
A total disaster.
Expensive mess.
Absolutely right. And when Democrats get mad, though, and when they get angry and when they get vindictive, you see what happens. It's not both sides. It's not. It is Democrats creating chaos and being violent. It's these leftist communists even that are doing these things. And we've talked about it. We've pointed it out. I want to share the difference. And I'm glad that he is standing firm. But the difference in a leftist being angry in their actions, and then Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, when he's angry. Listen to this.
We're not asking Chuck Schumer and the Democrats to do anything different than what they've always done. We've shown you the highlight reel. Chuck Schumer gave impassioned speeches as recently as 7 months ago in March of this year. He said, we have to keep the government open. It would be dangerous and harmful to the American people. He said after the vote, he went on CNN and said, I'm proud of that vote. I didn't like it, but we had to do that. He was right then. He is not right now. We're not asking the Democrats to do anything heroic. We're asking them to do their basic duty and responsibility, as Chairwoman McClain said. Keep their government open. The first responsibility, I'm sorry, I'm aggravated. The first responsibility of the government is to protect the people.
We can stop there because the whole point was just to get him to the point where he says,
I'm sorry.
I'm aggravated.
I'm aggravated.
Dude.
I'm sorry, I'm aggravated.
The leftists go out and shoot people. They riot. They set things on fire. Here's Speaker Johnson just laying out the truth. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get so aggravated. I didn't mean to get so fired up. But like, you're not fired up at all.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what the difference is between when you're not or when you are.
I
think he speaks a little faster, and that's about the only difference I can tell.
But the fact that he's standing his ground while being aggravated and while not, flipping over tables or whatever it is that that he, would, or anybody that is aggravated would do, is a good thing. I love it. It was just so funny for me to think about what leftists do when they're aggravated and what Republicans do. Specifically, Mike Johnson, he's probably a little more dialed back than anybody else. You could probably get a Rich McCormick fired up and he'd spit some. A Rand Paul, Mark Wayne Mullins, they'd probably spit some fire. But when he gets agitated,
we saw Josh Hawley yesterday.
Yes, yeah, that's a great one.
It's like, oh, you're spying on my phone, huh?
Yeah, he was pissed.
He didn't really care for having his phone spied on by the FBI.
And I love the fact that he's speaking up the way he does. I love the fact that he emphasized it. I don't love the fact that the people on the other side will set the world on fire for things that they believe in, and most of it's misguided.
Well, let's face it. If you just said, all right, let's put this into the same bucket and try and make a comparison. What are the Republicans looking to do? They're looking to continue the government as it currently stands, not having added anything.
Clean CR.
The Democrats are looking to add crazy amounts of spending for illegals, for PBS, to a European bank. They've added in all these conditions, by which the Republicans are saying, no.
Why would we?
Why would we? If you want to debate these things, if you want to work them into different legislation, then let's get back to work. And that's resonating with people, especially the 1% that's paying attention. If you want to have that liberal Aunt Peg of yours talk about, well, the Republicans are keeping this from happening. Be like, well, they're not trying to force through anything else spending-wise. They're just trying to continue the government. Why are you trying to put money back into PBS? Is that the hill worth dying on?
And when you bring up the clean CR, like that got brought up on CNN, then it's like a baby deer trying to walk for the first time or a baby giraffe trying to walk for the first time.
So Nancy Pelosi, when she's on television yesterday, she got asked about the clean CR. And this is the issue that's happening with Grandma Vodka and the rest of them. Now that the media is trying to get them to stop, because that's what's happening.
To what you pointed out earlier, MSNBC ain't mentioned it all, but we've had it on since 6 o'clock. They've not mentioned it one time.
This started Monday or Tuesday. It was a little bit over the weekend. It has picked up steam. The media is trying to get the Democrats to get this thing done in terms of, listen, they're giving you whatever they give, sign it. Sign it. Let's get this thing over with because it's only damaging you all. And the Democrats are in this rock and a hard place because even though the media is trying to, and they're looking at the numbers and saying, this is not helping you all, there's this fanatical, that 18% that have the favorability rating of the Democrats, that 18%, they're looking at this as like, look at my people fighting. We're fighting. We're keeping the administration back. This is what we're doing. So they think they're scoring points. They're scoring points with 18%. The news media is trying to tell you, listen, you're losing the rest of the country here. Right. So take a listen to Nancy Pelosi as she's asked about this, and this is that rock and a hard place.
I understand what you're saying about where the differences are, and they are very big. They are voting yes on what we say here in Washington, a clean CR, a bill to keep the government running for 7 weeks, and Democrats are voting no, and for the reasons you just said. So how are they shutting down the government?
First of all, it isn't a clean CR.
Okay.
So let's not stipulate to that. It's not a clean CR.
What do they have in it?
Going into that. The point is...
Yes.
That was the question that she didn't expect.
The point is?
And this is how weak that even Grandma Vodka is being perceived by the media. The media actually asked a follow-up question. Well, what's in it that's not clean?
And that's not like that's not a nailing you down tough question.
She didn't have a response. That was the end of it. She thought, as Queen Pelosi, just say it's not a clean CR, and that's the end of it.
Run with it.
And that's the end of it, right? Yeah. That's supposed to be the end of it. As soon as she asked, well, what's not clean about it? And she couldn't answer. Because if there was stuff in there that was stripping out key pieces of legislation or adding key elements that the Republicans want, then the Democrats would be telling you about it all day long. They're
Absolutely.
not.
Right, because they can't. There's nothing.
Can't.
And the fact that Grandma Vodka sits there and is in disbelief that there was a question asked, that she was challenged. How many years has she been in Congress? I mean, 40?
40, 50 years now.
Yeah, okay. She's never been asked anything like that. She's
not often.
Never. Yeah, or if it is, so much so that she's not prepared. You would think if your staff would have you prepared, knowing that question should come, knowing that it should come and you should be asked and you should have an answer right away. They don't have to prepare because they've never been in this position before.
If there was going to be a 10% cut in the budget as part of the CR to Planned Parenthood, they'd be telling you all about it. They'd be telling you about the devastation to women's rights and women's reproductives, and here's the sort of they don't have any of those issues to stand on with this because it's just a continuation of what you had going on 9 days ago.
Which you always rail on. Every time the government's been shut down, both sides, we just need to get the government open so we can work on this. We can get the things done. We can negotiate it. And Democrats have always talked about this. And now, like Lo said, stuck between a rock and a hard place because they can't. They have no leg to stand on. And I love the fact that mild-mannered Mike Johnson gets agitated and lets him know.
I am agitated.
I'm agitated right now. And Grandma Vodka, I'm agitated at you.
How do you like that for this week? We got a active Pam Bondi.
Right.
Who decided, I'm going to show you I got a little something.
Yeah.
And then we got agitated Mike Johnson, who speaks a little bit faster than regular Mike Johnson, and will stop down and say, I'm agitated.
I'm sorry, I'm aggravated.
Aggravated, that's it. Which is even more country. That's even more Louisiana. Aggravated. That's something that my mom and daddy would have said. I'm aggravated with you right now.
Does it not feel when you listen to him? And again, I'm not knocking him for this. I'm just saying this is what it sounds like. It sounds like youth minister guy who's then mad.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Golly geez, I'm upset.
That line could have been in any 60s TV show. I'm aggravated right now. But that's the difference. However, give him credit. He's dug in.
Yeah, they're breaking them.
Yeah, you might expect somebody to yell and scream when they're aggravated. He doesn't, but he is holding his ground, and it's something that we've never seen. And hats off, hand salute to Mike Johnson and the Republicans.
The Democrats made a huge mistake by pilfering all the FEMA money and sending it over to illegals during the 4 years, especially the final year of Joe Biden. Because now, the minute you say, hey, the Democrats are trying to allocate money for illegals in order to sustain the healthcare systems in some of these states, a majority of Americans, we went through the polling numbers, 56% still want them all out. 76% want every single one that's committed a crime beyond coming across the border, which is a crime, but who's committed crimes in this country out. Those numbers have been solid for nearly a year. They haven't changed. So when you say money going to illegals, out. Most of Americans, majority, out.
And I don't blame them because I feel the same way. You will not believe the amount of time the mainstream media outlets gave to Jay Jones in Virginia. We will run those numbers for you next on Extra 1063.
When political discourse gets ugly, count on Extra 1063 to be the voice of reason when tempers flare. The violent rhetoric from the left won't change our mission. It won't affect our hearts, and it won't stop us from being the voice of our community. Proud to be the conservative voice of Atlanta. Extra 1063 FM and the Extra app.
When you pull up back up to the house today after you've put in a long day of work. Are there things that you immediately notice about your home that needs to be fixed? Yeah, maybe it's just a place in the corner of the roof. Maybe it's a piece of siding that it wasn't sealed well or it's just getting old. And you know where if you have some of that siding, it'll puff up after it gets moist. You know what I'm talking about? Well, if you need that new roof or the new siding and you think you can't afford it, you actually can. Tug for Southern Exteriors, you can pick one of the two options, 0% interest for 1 year or 10% off your project if you pay in full. That's it. No gimmicks, no hidden finance charges, just an honest couple options for you that fit your budget and give your home the upgrades that you've been putting off. So the next time you pull, after you get this done, get the things fixed that you need fixed when you pull it back up into the driveway and you're like, man, that looks good. Make your house the envy of the neighborhood. They at Southern Exteriors have helped so many families in Metro Atlanta upgrade the exterior of their home in a way that works for their budget. Now it's your turn. Get a roof, siding, doors, gutters, windows, anything to do with the exterior of your home, and lock in that deal. Schedule your free quote today, 8779 Southern, 8779 Southern. SouthernExteriors.co. It's SouthernExteriors.co.
Atlanta's Mark from the Safe House. We have exciting news. We are moving to a new location to serve you better. And as you can imagine, we would rather sell our inventory than move it. So drop by our Ackworth location and save hundreds and hundreds of dollars on all in-stock safes. Brands like Champion, Browning, Fort Knox, and many others. We also offer professional delivery and installation. And the really exciting part is our new location in Alpharetta will offer an even better selection to suit your safe needs. So go to AtlantaSafeHouse.com. That's AtlantaSafeHouse.com.
Don't just ride apart from the crowd, travel above it. The spacious, sumptuous 7-seat GLS SUV wraps thoughtful innovations in ruggedly elegant style and refined luxury. It's chiseled and muscular, yet polished and agile from its bold grille to its LED tail lamps. Get an exceptional offer on the 2025 Mercedes-Benz GLS 450 4MATIC SUV. Just $929 per month for 36 months with $87.33 due at signing, exclusively from RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this vehicle and many other models during the RBM of Atlanta's fall sales event, now through October 31st. Special lease rate available only to qualified customers exclusively from Mercedes-Benz Financial Service through RBM of Atlanta, Sandy Springs through October 31st, 2025. Excludes tax, tag, title, and Georgia Lemon Law fees. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this and other exciting offers. Visit us at rbmofatlanta.com or call us at 770-390-0700 for details.
Big moments deserve big-time craftsmanship. At Solomon Brothers Jewelers, we've been family-owned and operated since 1982 because we know what it means to show up when it counts. Jaron Solomon here, and that's why we're proud to be an official Tacori jeweler. Each Tacori ring is handcrafted in California, going through 20 elite artisans before it hits your hands. Not mass-produced, not generic, always personal. And with Solomon Brothers, you get lifetime cleanings, unbeatable financing, and the largest Tacori selection in Georgia. Stop by a store in Buckhead, Alpharetta, or Sharpsburg. Visit SolomonBrothers.com to book your private appointment. Solomon Brothers Jewelers, where love is in the details and legends are built to last. Solomon Brothers Jewelers, proud partner of the Georgia Bulldogs and official jeweler of the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets.
Hey there, I'm Tara, owner and publisher of Our Town Monthly, Cobb's premier lifestyle magazine, where you'll find familiar faces, local voices, and community businesses like St. Benedict's Episcopal School.
I'm Father Brian Sullivan, head of school at St. B's in Smyrna. We welcome students preschool through 8th grade into a diverse and inclusive community. With small classes and personalized learning, we focus on the whole child academically, socially, and emotionally. Beyond the classroom, our students thrive in arts, clubs, mini athletics, and community service. We're proud to offer Spanish as a core curriculum, and we are a STEM certified school, preparing graduates for success in high school and beyond. Applications are now open. Learn more at stbs.org.
Thanks, Father Brian. Friends, check out this community treasure. And remember, Our Town is your town at Our Town Monthly.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your Georgia headlines for Thursday, October 9th. The last of 10 inmates who escaped a New Orleans jail in May has been captured in Atlanta. Authorities say Derek Groves was found hiding in a crawl space under a house after a SWAT team gassed the property and utilized a police dog. The breakout was one of the largest in U.S. history. 9 other escapees have already been apprehended, and Groves' arrest marks the end of the manhunt. Delta Airlines has ranked near the top on Forbes' World's Best Employer list and was named the best employer in Georgia among more than 1,400 companies. The company says its employee benefits, training opportunities, and corporate culture were key factors in earning the recognition. And if you've got Joro spiders building webs around your home, the University of Georgia is asking you to submit photos to its Joro Watch website to help track their distribution and population. The invasive spider first appeared in Georgia in 2014 and can easily be spotted with their large webs and bright yellow bands. Today's weather, partly cloudy and cool, will reach 71 degrees this afternoon. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne for Extra 106.3.
Have you been killing very many Joros?
Dude, they are everywhere. 3/4 of our lot is wooded, so I mean, they're everywhere. These webs are elaborate and gigantic, and it is the strongest web I've ever seen in my life.
It's incredible.
Dude, it's like nothing I've ever experienced before. And every morning, almost every morning, I don't know what it is. They love building right on the door that goes out of the garage out to the car. Instead of opening the garage door, we get a little side door. And every morning when I walk out.
Look at that wealth, Jerry.
Oh, yeah.
Got a side door.
Well, every garage
to go
got
along
a side
with
door.
it. To go along with all the other doors.
We got to have the side door to get around to the gated driveway.
Oh,
Man.
come on now. No,
You want to
it's
get a look
just
at that contract.
It's just a side door.
And cross over the moat on the way.
Yeah, and then he's like, but every now and then I got to deal with a Joro.
Yeah. Well, no, every morning I tear it down.
Do you have a light on that corner?
A light on the corner?
Like a light?
Well, we do, but it don't work, and I've got to call like the trusted toolbox or something. No, I'm not kidding. Like our entire floodlight and our side door.
This is the Beverly Hillbillies.
No kidding. I swear. And it ain't worked for 6 months.
I got it, but it don't work.
But that's why they would build near lights, because the moths go up there.
Well, yeah, but the light had been on for 6 months. I mean, it's been gone.
They build everywhere. I'm so angry about these things. I hate these things.
Every morning I walk out and I'll get and it's everywhere, and you can't get rid of it.
It is a very strong web,
dude. And you doesn't matter.
And listen, they're harmless, but they are creepy.
They are, and they're gigantic, man.
Yes,
those things make tarantulas look small.
Let's brightside this a little bit. Free Halloween decorations.
True.
Horrible.
I saw this. This is what I was driving over the weekend.
Hate them.
And we went down. There's a road. It's like I said. There's an area around my house. It's country. It's just what it is. And one of the power lines actually had 2 of the lines that were running from one part of the neighborhood across the street to the other neighborhood. And that entire line with the 2 had webs in between them with Joros.
It's unreal, dude. We've got to figure out how to slow them down a little bit.
UGA's working on it.
That's what I heard from your update.
That got me like, normally I always listen to your update in the morning, but when you hit Joro, I was like, hold on a second. I'm even more into this thing.
You would just think birds would eat these things or something.
What bird's going to see that and try to eat it?
I don't know.
Birds be like, I'm going to steer clear of that. I ain't messing with that. What is that? That's not native to Georgia.
The crazy thing is you can go knock them down. You can knock them down. You can kill every single one of them in your yard, and
next
they're
day,
right back the next day.
They are right back. You're exactly right. Now,
birds might want to eat Chinese. Are they Chinese or Japanese?
I don't
they come
know.
From somewhere else.
Somewhere in Asia.
Foreign.
I don't know. But one thing I do know.
Sushi.
Have you ever squished one of them?
Yeah.
There's a certain amount of them, and I don't know which ones it is.
East Asia. That's all they're giving me.
And their innards are like this light pink, thick.
Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, not all of them. Some of them don't have that, and I don't know why. And some of them are big old fat in the middle. Those are the ones that have the gooey pink middle.
Some webs spanning between 7 and 9 feet.
Dude,
that's what I'm reading.
I mean, you just talked about the one at your house that goes all the way across the road.
There's one on the side of my house. We've named him Frank. I ain't messing with Frank.
Isn't it supposed to get cold enough?
He lives here now.
Where they go dormant, like they're just gone.
Yeah, at some point, but not soon enough. I have no problem with spiders, but I don't bother them at all.
I hate them.
Okay.
8 eyeballs and 8 legs. That is too many of both of those things.
I have no problem with spiders at all. I usually, if there's one in the house, I mean, obviously Joral's not in the house, but if there's a spider in the house, I'll go get it because my wife's panicking, and I'll wrap it up in a napkin and throw it away. Throw it at the deck. Throw it off the side of the deck so they can move on and do their thing. I ain't trying to kill it. Dang it, no reason to.
You're better than I am.
Those things, I wear them out. Dude, I've taken my shoe off on the deck and swatted them, like it's a tennis ball.
The problem with these things is you got to take care of them, but they're big enough to be a problem, but they're also small enough that they can, if you don't get them in the first lick, they can get under your couch. Right?
Oh, yeah, they're gone.
They can go hide.
They're gone, dude. They hide, and they're fast.
They're fast.
And have you seen them drop?
Yeah, they go quick.
So when you try to tear down the nest and you think you're going to get one of them, they drop. They look like Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible.
I have it's a device where on the end of it is supposed to be the web cleaner.
Yep.
And I've got the elongating stick.
Got that. Yep.
And I always do the same thing. As I swing it at the web and I catch it and I hit it to the ground, I go, Joro!
Yeah.
Joro! Joro!
It's your battle cry.
Well, the kids want to go outside the backyard when we have people over, but they won't right now because there's so many Joro spiders.
And they're the size of your computer screen.
That's right.
You know those little salt guns that you can get to shoot at flies?
Yes, they call them assault rifles.
That'd be fun, but if you knock it out of the web and then it falls on the ground...
You ain't going to kill it.
No.
Yeah.
Those things are pretty sturdy.
Yeah, they are, man.
I don't like them.
Telling you. We'll run the numbers for you here on Extra 106.3. Los has built his career on making difficult numbers. Typically on the sports side, salary caps and all these things that most people do not understand make them really easy to understand. So laymen like me can understand it, or you can understand it. This one, though, when Los ran the numbers on this one, it wasn't quite as complicated.
It wasn't surprising given that we've been monitoring this story with Jay Jones. Since the text messages came out over the weekend of the man running for Attorney General of Virginia, fantasizing about killing the former Speaker of the House of Virginia and his children, putting bullets in them, killing these fascists. And we talked about how this is how the left talks with one another. At the water cooler, on their Discord channels, on Twitch, which we'll have some stuff a little bit later this week.
Cow.
This is how they talk to one another. This is par for the course. And every single time we're like, why don't y'all dial down the rhetoric? It doesn't dial down. They just continue doing what they're doing.
Mike Johnson's rhetoric is I'm agitated.
Guys, you don't understand. I'm agitated. I'd like to apologize. I'm agitated. So here are the numbers. When it comes to the total coverage from the major networks on this story with Jay Jones, which we've told you, it's so damning for where the Democrats are. They're the party of violence. They're the ones that are agitating in the way that they are. They're the ones that are trying to continue with assassinations and also the murder of ICE and DHS agents. The total is this. We have a Fox News update top of the hour, and it runs for, what do we go, about 2 minutes?
Yep.
All right, that's almost a minute longer than any network has given Jay Jones. The total is 63 seconds of coverage. Between NBC, MSNBC, CBS, ABC, 63 seconds of coverage this week since the story broke about the man running for Attorney General of Virginia fantasizing about killing his political opponents.
We talked about Joro spiders longer than that.
Yeah.
And
they talk about us like Joro spiders.
They do.
Like
we're
the Joro spiders of their world.
You're exactly right about
63 seconds total of coverage this week since the story broke. And the only place was NBC.
Yeah.
ABC, CBS, PBS, MSNBC, none of them touched it.
Which is a little bit surprising. I would have thought if I were going to go out on a limb, and if you hadn't have told me which one it was, I would have thought probably CBS if I had to guess. I wouldn't have guessed NBC.
I would have to imagine that if you are a producer, you're an executive over with one of these major networks, it's a different scanning process. For us, we see a story and we go, I'd like to talk about that today. Like, I think that'll fit our audience, right? I think this will work for our audience. It's different when you're running one of those shows. Your evaluation is, I don't think we should show this to our audience. Because if you're in the business of talking to Democrats with a favorability rating of 18%, what happens when this story makes Democrats look worse and really feeds into the narrative that they are the party of violence? You don't want to tell your own viewers, hey, Why are y'all so violent?
Yeah. What is it that...
what's wrong with you all?
That makes you do this or continually talk? Why is this continually showing up? And that's... Look, it would be easy to build a segment on that, even if you're them. Be like, hey, we have an issue.
Why do Democrats continue to talk this violently amongst each other?
And what is it that they hope to accomplish out of this? What is it that they're trying to do? And it seems to me the answer is we want to it's going to sound crazy. I know it's going to sound crazy. If you're a new listener, it's going to sound crazy. Their goal, we see it all the time, their goal is to topple the government of the United States of America.
We won't rest.
Yeah, we won't rest. That is their goal. That's their I mean, you think Mamdani, that isn't his goal? You think the Islamists in Dearborn, Michigan, that's not their goal? The armed queers of Salt Lake City, you don't think that's their goal? That's exactly their goal. And that's why they can't talk about it.
And at the top end of it, we even had AOC during her tour talking about, well, if you happen to get rid of this, look what would come from it.
Spring up.
What would spring up?
Socialism, communism, Marxism. That's what she's referring to.
This is the problem that goes on with the gullible. And listen, we've got gullible people on our side.
Sure we do.
Like we always point out, I don't like that person. That person's a Republican. I don't care for him. Like John Cornyn right now, I'm like, I love what's going on in their primary in Texas. Get rid of John Cornyn. Okay, that being said, the issue you run into is that there is a gullible left that thinks utopia is real. And what they fail to understand is if they're preaching utopia to you, hey, things will be a lot better. What that person is doing is securing their own power. That's it. That's all. You don't get to come along for the ride. Communism always promises the masses, hey, this will be better for all of us. No, it's better for the party. It's better for the people in power. And when you find out that, when you become disillusioned, that's when they get rid of you. Typically at the end of a gun when you talk about history.
At some point during the show, we're going to talk about how our guy Mamdani is basically saying, yeah, none of the things that I'm promising, I'm going to be able to deliver. And that's exactly what socialism and communism is. A whole bunch of promises with no delivery. But they love luring you in. They love promising you things to do the job that they want you to do and then discard you when you're no longer needed.
It's the issue that is going on the left right now. You can preach this stuff on the coast. It doesn't work in middle America. And middle America, by and large, does not have any interest in what's going on the coast. So what do you do when you're trying to run a major campaign? You probably act like Kamala Harris, try and say nothing.
Yeah, and talk word salad.
Right.
So it doesn't add up to anything. Nothing's memorable, which in her case was a good thing.
Because you cannot go out there and you can't win a primary for president on the Democrat side, in my opinion, and then run for president and run a national campaign after what you end up saying for 6 to 12 months. I just can't imagine it.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem to make any sense. And largely, what was Joe Biden? All right, outside of the largest, most statistically impossible election in the history of this country.
Fraud.
But remember how he ran. Centrist who's just going to get things back to normal. We're going to build back better.
We're the adults in the room.
Yes.
That's the way they described it.
And then what happened? The children ran things. The teacher's lounge ran things.
That's because they told Joe what to say. He had no idea which way was up.
No, they gave him cards telling him which way to look and what to ask
and
who to call on.
Yeah, here's the lady from ABC. Here's her picture. Here's the question, and here's the answer she's going to give you.
It was a toddler. It's amazing.
Exactly what it was.
But I think you're going to have a really difficult time. This is why I believe you see somebody like Gavin Newsom. Why you see him trying to, at the same time, mock Donald Trump,
because that still works for
social media
them.
Team to try and do that with a bunch of 20-year-olds. Okay, fine, no problem there. But if you notice, the messaging is, I'm trying to center this thing a little bit. Like if you ask him about Mamdani, he's not going to give you a quote on Mamdani, not one bit. He doesn't want to talk about any sort of communism in New York.
Same reason Chuck Schumer has not endorsed it.
He will not talk about it either.
I don't think Nancy Pelosi's most of the Democrat Party has not.
They know they can't win nationally. New York, that's what they're going to do. They can't win nationally when they have somebody who's a devout communist.
Morning Xtra and Extra 106.3.
Sorry, I'm what was it? A Democratic Socialist.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and is pumping millions of his campaign dollars into the DSA, the Democratic Socialists of America, which is code for communists, Marxists, and people are they're going to try to be like, it's not what that is at all. It's exactly what it is. When we come back on Extra 106.3, the leftists say, Twitter, we've blown that out. We're not going to spend any time there. Now called X, formerly Twitter. They've migrated for Blue Sky, but man, it sounds really, really empty over there. Next on Extra.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to Extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Thursday, October 9th. From the Major League Baseball playoffs, the New York Yankees are done as the Toronto Blue Jays took Game 4, 5-2, the final last night. Series still in action. The Tigers and Mariners are now tied at 2 games apiece, going to a series deciding Game 5 after a 9-3 win yesterday afternoon for the Tigers. That series will conclude tomorrow. The Phillies, they'll see another day. They beat the Dodgers out in L.A. last night, 8-2, the final. Game 4 begins this evening at 6:08. The Cubs, they're alive as well after a 4-3 victory over the Brewers. Game 4 will be tonight at 9:08. And from the NFL, the 1-4 New York Giants host the 4-1 Philadelphia Eagles on Thursday Night Football. That'll kick off at 8:15. With their sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Time now for the Retire Wise Report. James Parker here with financial advisor Sean Maloney, founder and CEO of Retire Wise. The big question for many of our listeners as they approach retirement is, will I be okay in retirement? Sean, how do you help someone figure out if they've saved enough to be comfortable?
Great question. There is a lot of different aspects to this, but the biggest thing is looking at risk. Look, there's a lot of different risks to your money, like market risk, there's healthcare costs, inflation, and taxes. All those need to be accounted for. Many people worry if they've saved enough. Am I going to outlive my money? Strategies to help preserve your wealth can be more important than the dollar amount that you saved. Get an analysis of your situation to help you get that clarity that you need.
Tell us about the offer you have for listeners.
If you're worried about if you'll be okay for retirement, you probably don't have a plan. You might not even know what I mean when I'm talking about, do you have a retirement plan? Well, we have a great resource for you guys. We have what's called the Retire Happy Framework Toolkit, and you can get that by calling or texting WISE to 770-802-2200. My team helped me put this thing together just for you, and it's a complimentary guide. And the center of this is a copy of my latest book, The Priority of Retirement. It has chapters from everything from investments to Social Security, income planning, and has other guides that go along with it as well, with some checklists in regards to all those different strategies and topics as well. So if you want to get that information in your hands today, call or text WISE to 770-802-2200. That's 770-802-2200.
Take advantage of this offer. Get your Retire Happy Framework today. Like Sean said, just text WISE to 770-802-2200. The team at Retire Wise will get you your Retire Happy Framework right away. So just call or text WISE to 770-802-2200. Investment advisory services made available through AE Wealth Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor.
Over the past 9 years, Stovall has raised over $400,000 for the National Breast Cancer Foundation through our Pinktober fundraiser. Join us again this October in supporting their mission for helping women now as they face breast cancer. All proceeds of our selection of pink plants, as well as 10% of all Rainbird irrigation sales, will be donated directly to the National Breast Cancer Foundation. Customers can also donate in person at any Stovall location and receive a free gift. Visit any Stovall store or check out our website at StovallInc.com to find out more.
Braves Country Convos is the newest official podcast of the Atlanta Braves. Join hosts Jory Palmer and Lauren Saad for some fun, lighthearted, and unexpected discussions as they interview guests with strong Braves country ties about the things that connect us all. Guests range from Braves alumni Charlie Culberson, MLB Network's Lauren Shahadi, and more. Visit Braves.com/podcast to begin listening to Season 1 wherever you get your podcasts or watch on YouTube. Atlanta Braves Baseball. We are our Braves country. Join Daniel Madelon, CEO of A Second Chance Bail Bonds, and co-host Tug Cowart as they bring together law enforcement, justice insiders, and voices from every part of the justice system, victims, advocates, and people who've turned their lives around. It's not PR, it's not fluff. It's an honest talk about what's working, what's broken, and how to build a better path forward, one second chance at a time. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. or listen to the podcast anywhere. Justice Unfiltered. Unfiltered, informed, and unbiased.
No one plans on going to jail, but when it happens, it's important that you know who to call. Call A Second Chance Bail Bonds, where we believe everyone deserves a second chance. Whether your loved one's been arrested in Cherokee, Clayton, or any of the other metro Atlanta counties in between, A Second Chance Bail Bonds works fast to help expedite release within hours. A Second Chance. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Call A Second Chance 24/7 at 404-BAIL-OUT or online at atlbail.com.
An investment in your home is something that will pay off in the future, but it's something that you can enjoy right now. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of all Four Seasons Garage, Entry Doors, and Windows. A beautiful new garage door, entry doors, and windows are an investment you can love every day, and they will increase your home's value, energy efficiency, and curb appeal. All Four Seasons, trusted in Atlanta for over 25 years, exceptional customer service, and high-quality work. When trust matters, trust us. All the number 4 Seasons Garage.
The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 106.3. Hey, it's the camera. How's it going? Here's what you missed from the Talkmaster.
The Democrat media will manipulate the way they deliver you your daily dose of news in a way that hides some of the truth they don't necessarily want to spread.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 or listen anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. Download the app so you can listen live and on demand. So we spend a lot of time on X, formerly known as Twitter. I've used, even when it wasn't a free and open platform, I still went there for news. That was my news source and has been for years and years and years. Probably, I don't know, I'd have to go back and look at my account. I wonder if I think there's a place where it says you how long you've been on. So May 2009, that's when I joined.
I think I'm April of 2011.
Okay, yeah. And from that point, I was like, I like this, how immediate the news is and how immediate sports are. It was all right there. At the time, in 2009, I had no idea the political leanings, and it really hadn't turned into a news-first site. So you got all kinds of news, stuff you agreed with, stuff you didn't. Fine by me.
And by the way, on your choice of reporters or anybody else, if it was somebody you wanted to know a story about, you'd follow them on Twitter, and you would then get whatever data faster than any website could get it to you.
Then, when it became a place of censorship, you know, you're like, gosh, this is awful. This used to be such a great place to have different perspectives, different people that you wanted to follow. And then they locked it down. Then Elon Musk comes in, buys it, opens it up, makes it back to what it was, back to the way I originally liked it.
If not, even more wide open.
That's exactly right.
Like with less filtering of information.
And the crazy thing is, the leftists hated it. And now have evacuated. They've left.
This is awesome.
Or at least a lot of them.
Because this isn't based on censorship. This isn't Missouri versus the Biden administration. That particular lawsuit ended up showing for everyone out there. It illuminated that the Biden administration was pressuring social media platforms, including Twitter at the time, Facebook, everyone else out there, that they needed to take away this information. Obviously, most of it being COVID information. Anything they didn't agree with, take it down. And that's what they were doing. And so it became a platform where you could not have an open discussion about any of sort of issues that you might have been dealing with medically in your life, or what we were all dealing with at the time, where you couldn't even have a discussion about vitamin D. All right? Like, vitamin D deficiency, this is a problem for people. Can't talk about it. What do you mean you can't talk about it? I can buy a $5 bottle and talk about the benefits of it?
Or I can walk out in the sun?
Or walk out in the sun? Or even talk about the fact that people of color have a harder time taking on vitamin D. Why aren't we talking about this? Well, the Biden administration didn't want you doing anything other than taking their shots or taking their Paxlovid or taking the medication that they told you that you had to.
Or taking their narrative.
And so what happens? Once the platform became free and open once again, the Democrats left because the censorship was over. They did not like that they could no longer have the rules of the game in their favor. Now they had to actually be in the arena of ideas. And you know what? Their ideas suck.
And they're losing and continue to lose.
So they ran off to Blue Sky. Now, I want you to hear this. This is another one of those breakdowns from CNN. Now, CNN's going to make it sound like, well, look how all these Republicans took over X. I don't believe that. I believe that the censorship ended, and once it did, and it was a free and open dialogue, the left because they didn't want to have it. Take a listen.
Oh my goodness gracious. What a tremendous, monumental shift on the regular news consumers on Twitter/X. You go back to 2021, the party ID margin. Democrats were 37 points more likely. You were 37 points more likely to be a Democrat on Twitter or X than a Republican. Jump ahead to this side of the screen. It's completely changed around. Oh, my goodness gracious. Now it's a 14-point lead for Republicans on Twitter/X. We're talking about a 51-point shift in the margin, and John and I were talking about it just before. You can see it with your own eyes. This is polling reflecting what you're seeing in the social media real world, where all of a sudden, John, you just see a lot more Republicans in your feed.
What happened? It wasn't like Republicans got boosted.
No.
It wasn't like Democrats were kicked off.
It was just Republicans weren't throttled anymore.
And the Democrats left. They decided, let's head on over to Blue Sky where we can have our weird echo chambers.
And the crazy thing is Harry Enton has talked about Blue Sky. And he was like, yeah, a lot of Democrats went there. Nobody else did.
No.
It is. I mean, it's like 4% of people that left Twitter that ended up over there. Or what?
It's a tiny audience.
Minuscule audience. And it's all leftists. Nobody else is over there.
So in the arena of ideas, where I remain on X, and I will read either side of a story. Now,
it's better to read both sides.
Part of that is the comedy. It's like, I just like
of course.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I mean, where else can I post joking fake pictures of Hitler? Right?
Yeah.
Where else can I do that? Where else can I put a picture of Charlie Murphy going, yo, we gave him help?
Yes. Right.
Where else can I do that?
He needs some help.
It's got to be on X. Whereas Blue Sky, it's all just it's a safe space for us online.
Twitter has X has 1.5 billion users. Blue Sky has about 30 million. And I would say a lot of those are just companies that just wanted to hold the username.
For a organization that is not supposed to be leaning one way or another. Remember, they're nonpartisan. You had groups like PBS that left X entirely.
Oh, yeah. AP, too. Didn't they leave for a while?
AP's around again.
Okay.
But they left to go to Blue Sky because it was, well, here's where the enlightened group is. No, this is where you don't have to worry about.
You can post anything you want.
Whatever
Nobody's
your headline is, they won't challenge you.
There's no footnotes. There's no community notes. Nothing.
Nobody challenges you.
It's just somebody echoing exactly what
And I get it. There's times where, like, I've posted sports stuff that don't work out. And you know what I end up saying? Well, missed on that one. Now, it doesn't happen very often because I'm the Oracle of Atlanta and I'm way ahead of the curve on most things. But when it does happen, you just take it in stride. Okay. You just keep it moving. What is it that Dave Chappelle said? He got dragged on Twitter, but he doesn't give an F because Twitter's not a real place.
That's right.
That's how I feel about it.
Blue Sky has 38 million accounts. As of June 25, Blue Sky has around 4 million active users.
Yes.
Yeah.
4 million
active users. That
4 million.
Dude, it's embarrassing. This is way off topic. But Twitter is always going to be Twitter. Elon's done a lot of great things. And he's opened up and I love it. He's lost the battle on the name.
He just likes calling X on everything.
I know.
Like, okay.
I know. I get it.
Listen, you keep it free.
Yeah, sure.
You call it whatever you want. I'll call it.
But I'm telling you, everybody still calls it Twitter. He's never going to win that battle. That's the only battle. Much like you're saying. You know what? Sometimes it just don't work. The name change.
You know what you are? You are the old guys in Coming to America when they talk about meeting Muhammad Ali and the old guy says his mama called him Clay. I'm going to call him Clay. I'm like, no. You want to be Muhammad Ali? You got it. You're the greatest. Thank you, Elon. You want me to call it X? It's X.
I try to as well, but I'm telling you, most people don't.
We're going to Mars and renaming it Planet X.
You got it. PlanetX.com. That's where I'm headed.
That's so great. When we continue, the last administration tried to avoid lawfare. Did you know that? Next on Extra.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
I've always had a real affection for the Smithsonian Institute in Washington, D.C. My aunt was the widow of a diplomat who negotiated part of the agreement that ended, or should we say suspended, the Korean War. There's an airplane hanging from the ceiling of the Air and Space Museum that my father flew in World War II. The last time I checked, the basket there in the hot air balloon was the same make and model of the one I flew for 1,000 hours. Now Trump is after the wokeism of the Smithsonian. You're probably not going to read a lot about that, but let me share you some of the things about the Smithsonian that has him and a lot of other Americans upset. The Natural Museum of American History. It's no longer about Ben Franklin's kite or the original Star-Spangled Banner. Now it's pride flags and panels about systemic oppression. The Entertainment Nation exhibit shows Mickey Mouse as a legacy of blackface and the Lone Ranger a metaphor for U.S. imperialism. The Smithsonian American Art Museum has a feature now showing sculpture has been a powerful tool in promoting scientific racism. So many exhibits that have nothing to do with race whatsoever find it necessary to insert racism and slavery into every aspect of American life. I'm afraid it would be really depressing to visit the Smithsonian today. Maybe Donald Trump just wants to make Americans proud of the Smithsonian again. Oh, by the way, did I tell you about the artist who withdrew her submission of a statue of the Statue of Liberty? Yep, she was afraid the Smithsonian would reject the statue because she depicted the Statue of Liberty as transgender. Can't make it up. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
This is Bruce Hagan. The law in Georgia has changed, and it's going to be harder than ever to get fair treatment on your personal injury claim. If you have been injured through no fault of your own, call me. You need a real lawyer, and that's who we are. We're not some TV and billboard lawyers who don't even know how to get to the courthouse. I've been a Georgia super lawyer for 20 consecutive years, and that's because I try cases and I win cases. We get results for our clients, and we can get results for you. Hagan-law.com.
Hey, this is Matt from East Cobb. We basically bought our house from our in-laws. It was my wife's childhood home. One of the issues that we've had when we first moved in was our dog in our backyard. It was extremely shaded, could never grow grass back there. We resodded it twice. So ATL Turf Co. did an amazing job with our backyard transformation. They basically created a miniature golf hole. We have a miniature fairway. We also have a miniature little putting green. Consists of about 4 holes, total about 40 yards, so you can definitely work on your short game and your putting. After that transformation that ATL Turf Co. did for us, my father-in-law came and saw his house the way it looked after the fact of we had a putting green and a miniature golf course. Sure enough, he did the same thing with ATL Turf Co. He has a beautiful backyard, wonderful stonework, drainage, and a beautiful practice area for chipping and putting. Check him out online at atlturfco.com.
WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 8 a.m. hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air.
This is a Fox News alert. They're celebrating instead of fighting in Gaza. I'm Dave Anthony. That's the reaction. Israel and Hamas agreeing to a ceasefire plan that could end the 2-year war. They also were singing and dancing in Tel Aviv because a big part of the deal is the release of all the remaining hostages.
We are still waiting to get confirmation that Itai, one of the 2 remaining U.S. citizens, indeed will be taken care of and will be able to come out.
Unfortunately for Ruby Hen, his son is not among the 20 hostages believed still alive. He was killed in the October 7th attack 2 years ago. His body and the remains of 27 others still held by Hamas. President Trump says the plan is for all of the hostages to be out by Monday, and as Israel gets ready to implement the ceasefire. Fox's Peter Ducey reports from the White House.
The top 2 items on the 20-point peace plan. 1, make Gaza a terror-free zone. 2, redevelop Gaza. And the president's promise to work with partners in the region who have built mega cities in the Middle East in the last couple of years was a big driver of this.
2 Pennsylvania state troopers are in a hospital the morning after being shot.
The officers had responded to a call about a retail theft at a Dick's Sporting Goods store in Guilford Township, Pennsylvania. There was a car chase on Interstate 81, ending with the deployment of spike strips. 2 women in the suspect's car complied with troopers' commands and got out to be taken into custody. The man with them started shooting, hitting the 2 troopers before being shot and killed.
Fox's Chris Foster. The government shut down a 9th day in a row as Democrats keep insisting health care provisions be included in a funding bill not approved yet. Fox's Ryan Schmelz reports from the Capitol. Things are getting heated.
Republican Congressman Mike Lawler tried to get House Minority Leader and fellow New Yorker Hakeem Jeffries to sign onto his bill to extend the Affordable Care Act premium tax credits for 1 year. It turned into a heated exchange.
You're making a show of this to make yourself relevant.
It's sad. You could easily sign on.
America's listening to Fox News.
It's Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and LifeLock is here with tips to help protect your identity. Use strong passwords, set up multi-factor authentication on your accounts, report phishing, and update your software on all your devices. And for comprehensive identity protection, LifeLock is your best choice. LifeLock not only alerts you to suspicious uses of your personal information, but also fixes identity theft, guaranteed, or your money back. So stay smart, stay safe, and stay protected with a 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use the promo code BECK. Terms do apply.
You ever wonder why Verizon charges twice as much as Pure Talk for the same basic service? Think it might have something to do with the fact that Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion. That's billion with a B. Yeah, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. That's why they can offer unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Save an additional 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say the words micro. That's pound 250, micro.
Support conservative conversation on the radio in Atlanta by emailing us at sales@xtra1063.com.
Tug and Los until 10. We've made it to the halfway point of the show. Thank you for being here. 404-741-1230 at Extra 1063 across the social media platforms. Los,
you have a choose your own adventure. You ready?
Oh, we got what now?
You have a choose your own adventure.
Oh,
didn't you have those books when you were young? The choose your own adventure.
Yep, we did. Yep, I remember them. Okay, go.
So if you flip to page 13, we can first jump into one of the big stories going on in terms of I'm just going to say a potential peace deal.
Well, because that's what it is.
It's what it is.
It's the framework.
Or you can turn to page 27. You can have the big boy moment. Or you can take both, but you can take a decision first and foremost.
I think we're going to start out, because anytime I hear big boy moment, I'm like, well, what is this? At our age, there's not many of those big boy moments left.
Yeah, there are.
Right. So we will get to the huge news and the framework. We also will get to the fact that the Biden administration, they didn't conduct any lawfare. Like anything you saw, anything you've heard, wrong. You're wrong. So we'll start with big boy moment.
I fixed my watch.
What was wrong with your watch?
So my favorite watch, look, Jerry's looking at me like, is that it? No, this is complicated, Jerry. Stop judging from over there.
Watches are complicated.
You and your judging face.
Here was the issue. So one of my favorite watches, it's a silicone band, and the straps on the end of it had both torn off over like a 10-year period.
And so it was like a little floppy.
So it's like a tongue, was off your wrist.
Yep.
And I was like, wait a minute, you can just go on Amazon and you can get these pieces and you can replace it. And yesterday I'm sitting there, I was like under a work light, and I'm just trying to get that thing in there. Tiny screwdriver. And I've got a little butter knife, and I'm trying to push this in over there. And then suddenly you hear, and I was like,
it just worked.
It's here.
Dude, it's back.
It's here.
Look at there, dude. Nice work, man.
I know many of you have probably done more complicated things.
But when it's something you've never done before and it means a lot to you.
Big boy moment.
Big boy moment. I like it.
You know, there are times when you pulled up those Pampers for the first time, too.
Yeah, it was.
And what did your mama call it?
Big boy moment.
Big boy moment.
If I recall.
That's right.
It seemed to be the way she rolled. And I remember with my own son.
Big boy moment.
He had all kinds of big boy moments, and some of those are my most cherished memories of him growing up. So I understand why this moment's so big.
So thank you. We can now continue with the more important aspects of the show.
the potential peace deal. That is look.
Well, right now one of them matters to me more than the other because the other is just a figment of my imagination.
It's a stretch. It's a possibility. Is it good? Is it a step in the right direction? Sure, it is. But is it something that will truly take decades and decades, and we're all going to be older, much older, if this ever works, if it ever leads to sustained peace in the Middle East?
I'm just getting in the car right now, Tug. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Donald Trump.
Thank you.
As he was sitting in a press conference yesterday, delivering, answers to whatever the reporters are shouting out. Maybe you saw Caitlin Collins say he's the most accessible president that we've ever had, that she's ever covered. So he's in this press conference, and somebody comes over. You see that it's Marco Rubio. He taps him on the shoulder and whispers in his ear. And Donald Trump says, it seems like they've accepted my peace deal, my 20-point peace deal for ending the hostilities and the war between Hamas and Gaza and the Palestinian people and Israel. So, people are celebrating around the world, people in Tel Aviv chanting and singing, people in Gaza, of all places. There are Palestinian people there that do not support Hamas or anything that Hamas does, and they were chanting Donald Trump, Donald Trump. I was blown away because we keep it on MSNBC and Morning Joe, so you don't have to watch this garbage. And they even showed those videos. I was completely surprised that they did.
There's two aspects of this. The first one was when this broke yesterday evening, as we were getting into the night, you largely had the CNNs of the world that were not calling it a peace deal. They refused to, because anything that was going to call it a peace deal was going to be beneficial to Donald Trump and this administration. They didn't even want to cover it as such. The other part is, I'll believe it when I see it, because I'm skeptical about what happens in that area of the world between two people, especially when you talk about Hamas and when you talk about the Palestinians, that from a social, from a child rearing standpoint, they are taught to hate the Israelis. And the Israelis ain't that fond of them either. They keep them in an outdoor prison.
And I understand why.
And I understand why both sides are what they are.
Yes.
And when we talk about ideology, you don't just teach it out of people.
No, there has to be an intervention. And so I'm reading last night as all this is breaking, because there's just news everywhere, and there's a lot of information out there that specifically Qatar and Saudi Arabia have these de-radicalization programs that they've seen work over the years. Now, it's always with like the lower level people that are just out there because they've been told their whole life that I have to fight for our cause. They're not in the leadership positions. You're not converting them. You're not changing them, unfortunately. That you got to kill them.
Most of Hamas's leadership is extremely wealthy because of their operations they have going. Most of them don't live in Gaza. Most of them are not anywhere near Palestine. They're working from other neighboring countries, raising money to send it there to have the foot soldiers. Your hope is that you can change the foot soldiers.
That's right. That's exactly. And those are the only ones you're going to change.
And
if you're lucky enough to do that.
This is our own version of scared straight.
Yeah, a little bit.
One of these other countries has the way to pray the gay away. Like, okay, I need you to stop wanting to strap bombs to yourself. And do it for rich people over in Riyadh.
But that's what my mom and daddy did. That's what my grandparents did.
Well, we got to break the cycle, don't we?
Right.
But that I think is the hope.
Yes,
that is the hope of this.
It definitely is. The what, I guess the part of it that makes me at least feel like that there's something here is that all of the countries in the Middle East, and we've talked about it at length, how Egypt is like, we have a wall so those Palestinians can't get here. The Jordanians, and I went to Jordan when I was in the Navy a couple times. The Jordanians have had issue with the Palestinians and the radicalization.
They don't want anything to do with them.
So the king of Jordan, he doesn't want anything to do with it. Now you've got the Saudis, you've got the Qataris, you've got even the Iraqis that see that this is going to be something that could benefit them financially, and specifically the Saudis. They have been, we talked about this early in the show. If you look at Riyadh, it looks like an amazing, up to date. It's not, deserts and it's beautiful buildings, incredible technology. When they see the possibility for peace, they see the possibility for them to grow economically. And that's what they want more than anything else.
So much of what the Abraham Accords are built on is a share of technology in the region.
Specifically, American chips that you use in AI technology and all kinds of technology, really. But AI is the main one that they want.
And imagine that it's economics that might be what can stabilize the region. Because we tried everything else for a long time.
Ain't none of it worked.
You have troops on the ground, boots on the ground, multiple wars in that area.
Doesn't matter.
You've got to try something different. And at least, I'm a skeptic about this.
As you should be.
Because I know that these deals seem to last about 48 hours. Everybody celebrates. And then the first thing that's going to happen, they're going to have an issue returning some of these people that have been taken hostage, and suddenly things crack off again.
So last night, that part of that information came out. Yes, they're returning the living hostages, and that's what some of the celebration in Israel was. Hamas has balked on returning the bodies of the people that have already died. I expect that that's because they don't have them. I mean, you can't keep... you're in a war zone. Yeah. It's like you bury it where you bury it, probably. That's exactly right.
That's just...
And you can't pretend that they still have a person that died 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
I would imagine that you probably have a handful that ended up in places where the building is collapsed and gone. I think that's just realistic.
That's exactly right. So that's why I feel like that balk wasn't that big of a deal, even though some people, as I was reading last night, some people had a real problem with it. And I was like, y'all are not thinking this through. I understand the immediate emotional reaction to that because you're like, no, screw them.
Well, you want to bring everybody home.
Of course.
And I get it. That's an emotional point. But is that, and it's hard to say this to a family.
Oh, I know.
Is that a bigger deal than ending this entire conflict in this region?
And keeping the family that you have alive and safe moving forward, potentially. And again, it's all based on hope. And hope can disappear quick.
If this ends Hamas's power in that region, well then, to me, that's a successful operation.
Certainly.
The problem that has gone on is whether it's been the PLO or here comes Hamas, here comes the next. There's always another group that comes along. And they always promise the same thing. We're going to get rid of Israel. You'll have your own state, and we're going to be a strong militant group. You're not going to beat the Israelis. It's like the rest of the region's figured it out. The Iranians were, all right, they got backed up by the Americans. This is what they just did to our nuclear program.
FAFO.
Yes.
and they FO'd.
It's like, how about we just stop messing around with this stuff? And y'all find a way to make this peace deal work. But again, optimistic but skeptical is how I would put myself.
Which is where, if you're realistic about life, that's where you sit this morning too. Because, we all want it to work. And we all hope that it works. And Donald Trump looks like he's got something set up. But and again, it goes back to economics, that everybody benefits economically. So there's an enticement to get it done. Doesn't mean it will happen long term, because this is a decades and decades long process.
It's a 1,000-year problem. And I give credit to Bill Clinton on this, because not only has he been adamant about, I thought I had it figured out.
In 96, I told them.
He's like, we have a two-state solution. The Israelis are on board. And the Palestinians with the PLO are like, hell no,
we're good.
We want to wipe them out. It's like, wait a minute. I thought all you wanted was here's your own country. Here's the situation.
It was never that.
It was never that. So does it take 2 years of being smashed into dust, into smithereens, to have what part of the world has called ethnic cleansing or a genocide? Well, how else do you get rid of an ideology? What do you think we do?
That's right.
If you want to point at the Israelis and be like, look what they do. I'm like, we've done the same.
World War II.
That's what we did.
We had to.
We took Imperial Japan and we showed them, hey, he ain't a god. We are.
Yeah, that's right.
Look what we just did to your cities.
We just rained down power that the world has never seen.
You think the emperor is a god? No.
We're here to
check out the Enola Gay.
Yeah, we're here to show you.
All right, like this. Sometimes this is how you end an ideology.
That's That's exactly right.
And so I'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see how this plays.
Let's be hopeful.
But Donald Trump, as of right now, this would be a huge victory for him. And you watch the news media having to look at this and go,
I hate
sucks.
him. Yeah,
I hate him. I hate him.
That's exactly.
I can't believe it.
That's right. I can't believe we have to say something positive about him.
And we want to talk about America first. This is exactly the sort of scenario of peace over here. Now let's deal with the crap going on in our own country.
And I do believe that's part of Donald Trump's strategy, right?
Peace around the world, deal with the crap we're dealing with here.
Crazy lunatics that we have to deal with. And I think that's part of the whole trying to end the war in Ukraine and Russia, because he knows our truest enemy, the most impactful war that could happen is with the Chinese. And we got our eye off the ball. We got our eye over here. And we're burning through our supplies. And we're years away from being able to replenish them because we don't create anymore in the United States. He's trying to bring that manufacturing back to be able to do that, to be able to put America first. There's a lot that has to happen.
See, I ask you this question because I do believe the Chinese are something that on the world stage, they want to be right there with us. In a lot of ways they are, but also we're economic partners. As much as we can look at them and say the Chinese communists, that's who they are. They need us. We need them. That's as much as you can kind of hope for. Will there ever be hostilities? Maybe down the road. But as it stands now, they'd probably need us even more than we need them. But we also need pharmaceuticals and everything else we get from them. There's a partnership there. What I will tell you is this. For everyone who makes Russia out to be like, at this point, well, they're the great enemy. I haven't seen Igor or anybody else or Vladimir burning down American cities or shooting at our officials. If you want to tell me like who's a bigger threat right now, that's why we had that press conference yesterday talking about Antifa. That's your threat. It ain't the former Kremlin. Not right now. It's what's going on internally in your country.
These people have seen an in, and they've got enough people, and the internet allows them to recruit more. They see an opportunity to overthrow the government of the United States of America. And I know you're probably listening going, Tug, that sounds way out there.
They want to destabilize particular areas so that far left policies and politics can grow into them. To the point where, for instance, in Portland, you actually have a society in which case the police will no longer police. And you have a mayor and governor that look at it and say, we would rather arrest the law-abiding people that are trying to keep these people from, in this case, protesting, or in many cases, burning things down. Like, how rotten must your brain be to do that? Core. So you can tell me all about the Russians and the Ukrainians. I'm like, okay, fine. You know what? Get a peace deal done. See what you can figure out there. The bigger threat to us ain't what's going on over there. It's here.
That's right. And I think that's why Donald Trump is so eager to put the lockdown on Antifa, put the lockdown on all this craziness.
That was the groundwork yesterday.
Absolutely it was. Because he knows, we know, everybody knows. If you're here and you see it and you love this country, all you have to do is follow the trail, man. They'll tell you what they want to do. They don't hide it. If it's hidden in plain sight, and you're choosing to bury your head in the sand. Some of these organizations are going to Cuba to learn from the revolutionaries of Cuba, to come back here and hopefully implement the things that they want to see happen, which is all leftism. Biden administration said lawfare. What lawfare? Next on the Morning Extra.
The Morning Extra has you covered until 10 a.m. Then it's Glenn Beck, Clay Travis, and Buck Sexton at noon, and the Kimmer Show taking over at 3, only on Extra 106.3.
Advisory services offered through Master Plan Retirement Consultants, Inc., a registered investment advisory in the state of Georgia. Insurance, tax, and commodity services offered through Fricks & Associates, Inc., DBA Master Plan Retirement Consultants. The aforementioned are affiliated companies.
Retirement means different things to different people. Some folks want to travel the world. Some folks want to spend more time with grandkids. For me, I'm looking forward to spending more time with my guitar. Whether extravagant and robust or simple and cozy, every retirement needs a plan. You wouldn't take a trip without directions. You have to know where you are before you know where you're going. Master Plan Retirement Consultants have helped many like you plan for their own retirement. Not only does Master Plan help you create the roadmap, they join you on the journey. So whether you want to travel the world, become a pickleball champ, or just looking for a good porch, a sturdy rocking chair, and an acoustic guitar, remember to plan well because the destination is worth it. Visit masterplanretire.com to schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Hey, it's a Kimmer. How's it going? You know, my buddy Jeff, the owner of Peach State Windows, he's been taking care of Georgia homeowners for almost 50 years. That's 5 decades of knowing exactly how to protect our homes from Georgia's heat and storms and everything else Mother Nature throws at us. When it comes to siding, these are the guys you'll want. Now, you're going to see ads from other companies waving around but look like the same kind of special offers and deals. Well, don't be fooled. Nobody brings the experience and quality that Jeff's team does. And right now, they've got an incredible deal. 1,000 square feet of durable hardy plank siding installed for just $49.95. Yep, 1,000 square feet of siding for under $5,000. On top of that, with good credit, you can take advantage of no money down and 0% financing for 12 months. Don't forget, say Kimmer sent you. You'll unlock special savings just for Extra 106.3 listeners. Check them out today. PeachStateWindows.com. Again, that's PeachStateWindows.com.
Hey there, I'm Tara, owner and publisher of Our Town Monthly, Cobb's premier lifestyle magazine, where you'll find familiar faces, local voices, and community businesses like St. Benedict's Episcopal School.
I'm Father Brian Sullivan, head of school at St. B's in Smyrna. We welcome students preschool through 8th grade into a diverse and inclusive community. With small classes and personalized learning, we focus on the whole child academically, socially, and emotionally. Beyond the classroom, our students thrive in arts, clubs, mini athletics, and community service. We're proud to offer Spanish as a core curriculum, and we are a STEM certified school, preparing graduates for success in high school and beyond. Applications are now open. Learn more at stbs.org.
Thanks, Father Brian. Friends, check out this community treasure. And remember, our town is your town at Our Town Monthly.
Fox 2.
I'm Michelle Polino. Ozzy Osbourne, No Escape From Now is streaming now on Paramount Plus. The intimate documentary profile of the iconic singer-songwriter and Black Sabbath frontman chronicles his health issues, including Parkinson's, that largely kept him from performing in his later years. Kelly Sharon and Jack Osbourne also appear. Also on Paramount, Red Alert, a 4-part Hebrew language drama depicting the October 7th, 2023 attacks from the perspectives of both civilians and law enforcement. On HBO Max, One Day in October is a 7-part historical drama series from Israel depicting the personal stories of survivors of the October 7th, 2023 attacks. And on Netflix, Victoria Beckham, an intimate 3-part docu-series profile of the fashion designer, former Spice Girl and wife to football legend David Beckham, following along as she prepares for an important new runway show. That's Fox Tube on Fox News.
Military Matters.
Jason Mays with the U.S. Northern Command Counter-Unmanned Aerial System Division estimates around 8,000 drones are in U.S. airspace at any given time. But U.S. Northcom doesn't want drones over U.S. military bases.
You don't want one of these things flying through, like I said, on an airfield or on an approach or departure path.
Last year, U.S. Northcom reported over 350 drone incursions at more than 100 military facilities. Some systems, like John Gruen's Interceptor drone at Fordham Technologies, uses a net packed into a shotgun shell to knock drones from the sky.
That goes out and grabs it with a net and takes it down safely and puts it wherever you need to.
Air Force General Gregory Guilloux is in charge of U.S. Northcom. His goal is to have a response team on the East Coast, West Coast, and in Alaska that can respond to drone incursions anywhere in the country within 24 hours. At Eglin Air Force Base in Florida with Military Matters, Asher Red, Fox News.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your Georgia headlines for Thursday, October 9th. The last of 10 inmates who escaped a New Orleans jail in May has been captured in Atlanta. Authorities say Derek Groves was found hiding in a crawl space under a house after a SWAT team gassed the property and utilized a police dog. The breakout was one of the largest in U.S. history. 9 other escapees have already been apprehended, and Groves' arrest marks the end of the manhunt. Delta Airlines has ranked near the top on Forbes' World's Best Employer list and was named the best employer in Georgia among more than 1,400 companies. The company says its employee benefits, training opportunities, and corporate culture were key factors in earning the recognition. And if you've got Joro spiders building webs around your home, the University of Georgia is asking you to submit photos to its Joro Watch website to help track their distribution and population. The invasive spider first appeared in Georgia in 2014 and can easily be spotted with their large webs and bright yellow bands. Today's weather partly cloudy and cool will reach 71 degrees this afternoon. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne for Extra 106.3.
8 o'clock hour brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier expert. 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com. We were talking about Joro spiders. When was it? Was that about maybe this time last hour, maybe? And it was because of you mentioning the UGA study.
725.
Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
They want your photos.
Yeah. Do you have that website handy?
Sure.
Do you have, give it to me real quick.
It is jorospider.com. What eats a Joro spider?
Okay. Jorospider.com.
That is actually very comedic. I was about to joke joro.joro.joro.com.
It's right there.
I was thinking it would be like University of Georgia / Joro Spider. I don't know.
Oh, no, the UGA site.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Joro Watch.
Yeah, okay, Joro Watch. There we go. Because my cousin Brittany, who listens to our show regularly, she just sent me a picture of this gigantic Joro spider that has built its gigantic, incredibly strong nest or web right outside her living room window. And she's like, where do they want us to send this? I got to send a picture of this gigantic thing.
JoroWatch.org.
There you go.
Brittany and I are now friends.
Yeah, I know. You hooked her up with a trampoline for the youngin'.
That's right.
That's a friend indeed.
Hopefully everyone's still intact. No broken bones or anything.
Yeah, as far as I know, she's not mentioned anything. So I
okay,
assume
good.
that's the case.
I think we're good.
She says this web. She said like the spider you talked about that went, that was connecting and went all the way across the road.
We had over near a road that I live off of. There were two power lines that were running, and they were running perpendicular to each other across the road, and in between them were just Joro web after Joro web. Probably like 8 or 12 of them all in a row across the street.
Unreal, man. This one, she says, she sent me the picture of it, and you can see how just gigantic it is. She said this thing goes all the way across our yard.
Wow. They say 7 to 9 feet are some of the large ones.
Which that adds up. That makes sense. So anyway.
There's only one way to beat them.
That's smash them, all right?
Yes, but in order to take their souls away so they stay out of your yard, you must eat one.
Oh, God. No.
I don't believe I could do that.
How much?
Yeah, I could.
How much would it take?
$1 million?
You do it for $1 million? I might need 3 commas for that.
Really? Okay.
Because I better not have to do anything else for the rest of my life.
Eat a spider? I don't think it's that big deal.
No.
I mean,
all right, I'm asking AI if they're even edible or if anybody does eat them.
like any
birds, lizards, frogs, bats, and certain wasp species such as mud dogs.
I think he's talking about any like civilized, human beings. Is that not what you're going for, Los? Or are you saying anybody, anything?
Well, I'm just curious if there's anywhere in the world
like a culture,
right?
Yeah,
where
that's
the Joro, because remember it's from Southeast Asia,
Japan, I'm told,
it's from East Asia, so. You wonder if you've got something this size, has anyone turned it into any sort of delicacy?
That's right. Dip it in chocolate or something.
Says their venom's mild compared to a bee sting if they bite, which they rarely do. They target small insects, not people. Says, however, consuming them carries practical risks and offers no real benefits.
Okay, well, they've thought it through.
Says you need to kill, clean, and cook them thoroughly to avoid bacterial contamination from their exoskeletons or gut contents, which is what Jerry was talking about, what color they look when you smash them.
Yuck. Yeah, so but $1 million, I'd give a roar for $1 million. But I know maybe like Jerry, maybe it should be $100 million.
Ooh, they might have pesticide residue.
Ooh.
And as it notes, there's no nutritional upside. They're mostly protein and fat, but tiny.
I'm gonna need $100 million at minimum and a bottle of Jack Daniels beforehand. I'm gonna need some liquid courage for that.
Ain't nobody giving me $1 million or you $100 million. We're out of luck, man. That ain't happening. That just ain't.
But $20.
$20 on the other hand.
$20 on the other hand.
Now, dude, there's some people that you could probably convince with $20. I ain't one of them. I won't fall into that.
How about for $100, you run through my backyard, but you have to run through every single web?
It's almost impossible to get. I've told y'all I walk out the door this morning.
And strong.
And have y'all seen the yellow one, the gold color?
Yeah, it's a gold webbing.
Dude, those things, it's like Tarzan. You could swing through the trees in the jungle with that stuff.
It's no joke. It's strong.
Yeah.
Like, you reckon when you're trying to pull it apart, you're like, okay, that's some serious webbing.
Do you think...
And I love Spider-Man.
Yeah, there you go. Do you think that the folks out at UGA are like... Because, they have that engineering school out there now. Do you think they're probably trying to maybe figure out how this spider creates a web that's that strong and how we could recreate that some way? Do you think that's part of it, or is it just...
It's got to be something scientific in that regard.
I would think so, too.
I mean, you study the insect world. Part of the reason why the Amazon is so valuable is the things you learn that come out of there where you're like, I didn't know that compound even existed.
No, that's right. Swatoon is a exterminator, and he has got a Juro story that will probably make us
here we
shake
go.
and give us the EBGBs. Man, what's up? How you been?
I'm okay. How are you guys doing? Anyway, when it comes to Juro spiders, yeah, you want to kill them, do extermination of them. I mean, pretty much all bugs. But I've seen mosquitoes flying through their web, not getting attached to it because they can see the web and just go through it. So they are not really beneficial when it comes to mosquitoes.
Interesting.
I freed about 6,
like
hummingbirds.
Oh, hummingbirds.
The small hummingbirds from their webs before, and about 3 or 4 lizards, baby lizards. And the biggest one I saw was, I would say, about 12 inches, and it landed on my face, and I smashed it. Even my boss told me I should have kept it because that would be a good specimen. But yeah.
You're like, no, thank you, sir.
No,
Kill
it with fire.
Yeah, that's right, dude. I've done that. You have those. Those the lighters that are like little torches.
Yeah.
That you
cigar lighters.
Yes, absolutely. But you can get them for your grill too. I had one of those, man. I just went around the front porch, just
went World War I on them.
Absolutely, burning it down. And there is some gratification that I get out of that. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know if it's some sort of internal thing, some mental thing that I just like setting things on fire. Or is it just effective? And it may be a combination of the two. I don't know.
If it doesn't run them off.
Yeah, it doesn't. They are fearless.
This has got to be a cold thing. Like, it's got to get cold enough and they go away, right?
But that's the problem. It don't really get cold enough here to do anything to them. I mean, I know it's like in December or something. They kind of disappear for a little while.
But they only, how often they come back? Because I remember it was like 5 years ago when they were like everywhere.
Oh, it's every year.
Well, that's the deal. This year feels like it's much worse than any that I've had
in a while.
In past years, it's been like, okay, there was a couple. Like, it's the entire yard right now.
Yeah.
So ever since I've moved to Woodstock, we have thin streets, right? You park on the street. It's a townhome community. And we have trees lining the streets. Last year, one built a giant web, one of these huge ones, and it's above the road. It's about 15, 16 feet up in the air. So every time I walk outside, I look up, I was like, hey, he's still up there, okay. I don't want that sucker to drop on me. Another one is in the same spot this year. So
wow. It's like he came back and reprised his role.
Oh, okay. So you ready for the breakdown?
Yeah.
So spring, April to May, that's eggs from the previous year hatch.
Ugh.
So that's when that starts off. June through August, they're juveniles, and that's when they're small. The explosion occurs, and this now makes a sense, August to October. That is the peak season. It says adults mature, females grow up to 4 inches across, including legs. Massive golden yellow webs up to 2 feet wide appear everywhere. And then it points out in winter, once we get to November and March, adults perish after the first freeze, but eggs are sacked over winter. Restarting the cycle, no active spiders will be visible. So
all right.
They'll be tucked away waiting.
We need them bulldogs.
We need ice for Juro spiders. Get them out of here.
That's right. We need Juro ice to evict them. Send them on back. Goodness gracious. This is the Morning Extra. Thank you for being here. Tug and Los until 10.
If you catch my neighbor's cat in one of those webs, that'd be bad.
Well, dude, Slatoon was talking about hummingbirds.
Yeah.
That's not surprising at all. I've not seen that. But that does not surprise me at all.
If you catch Mr. Jingles, we have a problem.
Dude, if you can catch a cat and wrap him up, man, that'd be bad news. People
These
would
are
be
a problem.
upset.
They're going to start calling in.
Yeah, I know.
How dare you?
The Biden administration, they claim they didn't use lawfare. The Democrats are pointing to the Republicans following up on the lawfare that we've seen. And yet they still deny it, Los.
I couldn't believe I heard this yesterday. So MSNBC, they are doing the criticism of the Trump administration. This is coming after Pam Bondi was in front of the Senate committee, and they're talking about what the Trump administration's doing to target their political enemies. These people, with a straight face, act as if the last 4 years, 10 years don't exist. Take a listen.
Yeah, in fact, the last administration went to great lengths to try to eliminate even an appearance of influence or, political bias related to certain cases with appointments of special counsels that were separated from the Justice Department. The president not willing to weigh in on any of those cases. We even saw the former president, Joe Biden's son, prosecuted by the DOJ under the Biden administration.
Knowing that he was going to get a pardon.
You have to be one of a couple of things, and I think I would lean towards willfully ignorant. Like, you've just decided, I'm just not going to pay attention to this. I read scripts. This is what I do.
I don't know.
I'll just act like I don't know, because otherwise you're just flat out lying to me.
And I tend to think it's at least 70-80% that versus the willfully ignorant. I think they're just like comfortable lying about it because they hate Trump so much. This is such an easy way to attack him. I think from their perspective, we can pretend that the last, like you said, 4, 8, 10 years didn't even happen, and now we can just say Trump, he's the bad guy. He's the one causing the problem. I want you to hear from Eric Schmidt about the weaponization of the government. I think he sums this up so well. And it really goes back in the face of people like her that say these just unbelievably absurd things.
Do you think this Justice Department is acting politically by going after President Trump's enemies, James Comey, Senator Schiff?
I'm glad you asked the question. Let me make a clear distinction. The weaponization we saw under Joe Biden, okay, that is the weaponization of government. The idea that you would hold people accountable who weaponize the Justice Department is not the same thing. So I hope we'll make that clear. I'm going to say that 1,000 times. This is not the same thing. By the way, if President Trump wanted to do that, he would have done that in his first term against Hillary Clinton and all the people that came at him then. That didn't happen. So this Justice Department is abiding by every single court ruling, and they're trying to clean up a mess that, again, was the most dramatic example of corruption you could ever have in the Department of Justice.
So well put. Going after the people that weaponize the government is not weaponizing the government.
So let me get this straight. You're either lying or there's a willful ignorance that you didn't pay any attention. For instance, if I was to ask you, Mr. Tug Howard, one of the issues that went on with the Mar-a-Lago raid was that the FBI brought in their own folders to make it look like what?
That Trump had done something wrong. He had broken the law.
And that they have them marked as
top secret. They taped it on there to make it a nice photo shoot.
And then they staged it to make it look like this is what he had. That was part of the reason why a large amount of the case and Jack Smith's case fell apart in Florida. Like, wait a minute, so you staged all this? Well, yeah. Well, how are these marked top secret? Well, we brought the folders.
And our Scotch tape.
Okay, so I know that. You know that. Jure knows that. This audience knows that. This is common knowledge. But if you're Jeremy Toobin from CNN, how about this from yesterday?
All of a sudden, that when it's Republicans, they're not victims, they're suspects, according to Jack Smith. I think there's been a broader politicization of the FBI. We had an FBI agent plead guilty to falsifying records so that he can get a wiretap on the Trump campaign back in 2016. That happened. You have this BS raid on Mar-a-Lago where the FBI brought cover sheets of top secret and sprayed them around the floor and took pictures. Where did they end up? Right?
The FBI brought those sheets?
They did bring the sheets. The FBI brought the top secret cover sheets and replaced other documents with those, put them on the floor, then took photographs, and then leaked the photographs. That's what actually happened. This agency has a leaking problem. That's why James Comey's under indictment right now.
The photographs were attached to court documents.
And let out the public. The purpose was that you saw them, you in the media.
Toobin is like, wait, they brought the... What do you mean you don't know? That's the basis for Jack Smith's entire court case falling apart.
It's the same thing Jake Tapper did, dude, with that whole... With pretending that he didn't see Biden's decline and then wrote a book about it later. because he knew it the whole time, but pretended he didn't.
And are we far enough removed when it comes to Jeffrey Toobin? What happened to him in 2020? Like now he can go back on CNN 5 years later. That if you happen to be on a Zoom call
with your britches off,
playing with it, that we just now say, okay, that's fine.
You know what? It had slipped my mind right now.
It probably was better that way.
Yeah, that's a
probably was better that way when you see that man.
Yeah.
And yet he's on television
acting like
surprised.
he had no idea.
Like, what do you mean? They did that? Well, we saw pictures they were posted. It's like, yeah. It was all BS.
I don't know how he can do. He knows better. He knows better. Now, I understand he's trying to protect the Democrats, and all. I understand all that.
They're all pretending like suddenly lawfare is real, and we've never seen this before.
Yeah, because they have to pretend that way. Because they know exactly what happened. They know that the Biden administration used lawfare from day one all the way through the end. Just like the lady who played earlier when she said, well, he even prosecuted his own son, knowing that he was going to give the pardon, even though he had said many times that he wouldn't. He knew exactly what he's doing. They all knew what they were doing. Jack Smith needed a charter boat for the fishing expedition that he went on. Next on Extra 106.3, 8 o'clock hours brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning. Your Atlanta carrier expert, 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Thursday, October 9th. From the Major League Baseball playoffs, the New York Yankees are done as the Toronto Blue Jays took Game 4, 5-2, the final last night. Series still in action. The Tigers and Mariners are now tied at 2 games apiece, going to a series-deciding Game 5 after a 9-3 win yesterday afternoon for the Tigers. That series will conclude tomorrow. The Phillies, they'll see another day. They beat the Dodgers out in L.A. last night, 8-2, the final. Game 4 begins this evening at 6:08. The Cubs, they're alive as well after a 4-3 victory over the Brewers. Game 4 will be tonight at 9:08. And from the NFL, the 1-4 New York Giants host the 4-1 Philadelphia Eagles on Thursday Night Football. That'll kick off at 8:15. With their sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Hey, this is John Flading. I'm the president and owner of ATL Turf Co. We are a family-owned, operated, independent local company. We have over 15 years of artificial grass design, installation, and sales experience. From premium artificial lawns and backyards, custom putting greens, sports fields, hardscape, drainage. We do both residential and commercial. If you can dream it, we can build it. Just go to atlturfco.com to schedule an appointment.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and for Stovall, this is a cause that's near to our hearts. We all know someone that has been affected by this terrible disease, and we have partnered with many of our vendors to raise money for this worthy cause. During the entire month of October, 100% of the proceeds of our selection of pink plants, as well as 10% of all Rainbird irrigation sales, will be donated to the National Breast Cancer Foundation. All Stovall locations will also be giving out free gifts for any donations made in store. For a full list of pink plants, as well as other ways to show your support, check out our website at StovallINC.com.
Hey Atlanta Braves fans, this is Kelly Kroll asking you to step up to the plate for the men and women who have served our country and protected our freedom. The Warrior Alliance, an official community partner of the Atlanta Braves and the Atlanta Braves Foundation, is helping thousands of veterans to achieve success after military service. Either you or someone you know has served and deserves our support. The best way to say thank you for your service is by helping a veteran round the bases on their journey home. Donate today at thewarrioralliance.org.
Faith, family, freedom. These are the cornerstones of America and the foundation for a successful life. But today, all three are under attack. Crushing debt, out-of-control spending, and reckless policies in Washington are threatening your savings, your retirement, and your future. Hi, this is Glenn Beck. The only financial advisory firm I recommend in Atlanta is Nicholas Wealth Management. David Nicholas and his team believe protecting your money is about more than wealth. It's about defending your faith, your family, and your freedom. If your hard-earned retirement is left exposed to market chaos, higher taxes, or inflation, what happens to the life you've worked so hard to build? For over 20 years, David Nicholas has helped families right here in Atlanta fight back with retirement strategies built to better withstand uncertainty. Call Nicholas Wealth Management today, 404-890-5606, or visit nicholaswealth.com. Aim to safeguard your future today.
Nicholas Wealth is an independent financial services firm that uses a variety of different investment strategies.
I'm Chad Pergram with the Speaker's Lobby. The government shutdown plods on. House Speaker Mike Johnson declared that because of the shutdown, quote, real pain is being endured by real people because the Democrats decided to play politics. Johnson then defended how President Trump trolled Democrats, specifically with an AI-generated image of House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries wearing a sombrero with a mustache and mariachi music playing in the background. Said Johnson, quote, is he trolling the Democrats? Yes, because that's what President Trump does. The Speaker added that the administration took no pleasure in firing federal workers. So yours truly asked Johnson, which was it? Was the shutdown serious with federal workers and their jobs on the line, or was this a game with trolling? Johnson then said that President Trump was, quote, trying to make light and point out the absurdity of the Democrat position, but then added that they were using social media to make their points, which some might feel, quote, entertaining. So it's hard to tell. Is the government shutdown serious, or is it time to troll with memes and laughter? The Speaker said both. With the Speaker's Lobby, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
The Fan and Extra 106.3 are proud to salute all those who've served our great nation at our 2025 Veterans Day Golf Classic. Friday, November 7th at Heritage Golf Links. Join all your favorite Fan and Extra personalities for a day of golf, prizes, and fun, all benefiting our friends at the Warrior Alliance. Special thanks to the Atlanta Braves, Corona, Beaver Toyota of Cumming, Harris Cherokee Casino and Resorts, Tito's Handmade Vodka, Freebird Southern Spring Water, Henri's Bakery, and the Color Spot.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra. Download the app so you can listen live and on demand. 106.3 FM, 1230 AM, extra1063.com. You see, there's lots of ways to listen. The app is the best. So, I've been on a charter fishing trip before. I know, Los, you did when y'all had the house down in Florida.
Yeah, love it.
You went out. It's so much fun. The fresh fish, man. You have a great meal at the end of the evening, and I know y'all even, you'll take a break, and that's like your cheat day, right?
That's our cheat. Whenever we fresh fish.
Yeah, which is out of this world good. But that's nothing. The experiences that we've had are nothing like the fishing expedition that Jack Smith went on.
Jack Smith violated a major rule. For those of you who you kind of know the name or you're kind of new to this radio station, because we've brought up Jack Smith quite a bit. Jack Smith was the man who was assigned to get Trump at all costs. Now, the Biden administration will claim, that's not what we were doing.
Oh.
It was independent of us.
Completely.
No, the correspondence will continue to show that the Biden administration and Jack Smith were in contact about how they were going to get after Trump. And I believe because of their polling, they knew they couldn't beat him. So what did they do? In the third year of the Biden administration, it became, well, let's see if we can put him in prison. Let's see if we can bankrupt him.
Seems like a good plan.
Because the polling isn't looking good.
We can't
Why
beat
don't
him.
we try this?
We'll destroy him.
So here's the deal. When you go after people, you better be certain, especially people in power, that they've done something. That's just kind of the unwritten rule in Washington. If you're corrupt, did you do some sort of deal? Why do you have $200,000 in your freezer in your office?
Or buried in your front yard.
There's just times like that where you go, okay, there's something pretty shady here.
Probably ain't all that right.
Right? But you don't go on fishing expeditions. All right? You don't, let's just see if we can find something on somebody. That's the thinking. That's the problem.
Well, I saw what Letitia James did too, right? It was kind of that same mentality.
Oh, I'll find something.
Yeah.
Okay, here's where things get crazy. I want you to listen to John Kennedy, your favorite person in all of Congress,
right from Louisiana.
Out of Louisiana. This is him explaining, I think it was on Fox Business, about what had gone on, because he was one of the people that was talking about they were actually spying on quite a few of us. This was Jack Smith going on a fishing expedition. And again, unless you've done something they're pretty certain of, you don't do this. This goes against all the rules. Take a listen.
When I first heard about the story, I thought it was satire. I thought it was some nonsense on TikTok. I'm appalled. It's unconscionable. It really is breathtaking. This is a special counsel of the Department of Justice who sought and received the phone records of 8 sitting United States senators. The telephone companies just turned them over. We have no idea what the predicate was, why the FBI and the Justice Department and Mr. Smith were asking for the records. We only found out about it because of a whistleblower. I'm shocked that Smith, I thought he was smarter than this. I mean, I've got rocks in my driveway that are smarter than this.
Keep in mind, somebody like Nancy Pelosi, for as much as we always talk about her insider trading, there is so much that goes on in Washington that everybody kind of looks the other way. Are you insider trading? Probably. Can you prove it? It's going to be tough. Is it blatant? No, sort of.
Well, it depends on if you look at the totals.
Yeah.
Yeah. You probably nothing else would give it away, but when you look at the bank account, that would be like, oh, wait a minute.
But there is a general understanding in D.C. you don't go on fishing expeditions when it comes to people in Congress.
Yeah, unwritten rule.
It's just an unwritten rule. Jack Smith, this was a suicide mission by this guy. Like, that's what the Biden administration did. They put him on a suicide mission.
And they let him, yeah.
And they're like, you better come, you better get as many scalps as possible, because if you don't, if you go with the king.
If you fail it.
You best not miss.
That's right.
All right, he missed. It's going to be him who's going to be in prison. That man is going to be in prison. I have no doubt about it. Now that, nothing to do with Donald Trump. Nothing to do at all. What he apparently pushed in spying on 8 members of the Senate, those people will stop at nothing now to make sure that he's in a jumpsuit.
Josh Hawley, dude, he was pissed. And rightfully so. Can you imagine the intimate conversations with family members? Maybe it's about illness. Maybe it's about your children. That they listen to, how filthy, low down, dirty that is.
Now, there's something important that Kennedy said. He said, what was the predicate to do this? Now, did one of them have some sort of anything they were involved in that would then allow you to be able to secure what you needed in order to search their phone records?
Seems like a stretch.
Maybe, but it is a really big stretch. I'm telling you, Jack Smith was put on a suicide mission, and they're going to get him.
And
it'll have nothing to do with Donald Trump. It'll be 8 members of that Senate that are going to rally everybody else and be like, this dude, like Pam Bondi, they'll call Bondi every day until this thing gets taken care of.
And though he would be deserving of punishment for the things that he did to Donald Trump, this is what's going to sink the ship. It's like Al Capone.
Yes.
All the things he did, and it turns out to be tax evasion that sunk the ship.
This was the deal. You ended up spying on 8 senators without a reason. Unless, you better make it a pretty good one. You better be able to get it out there.
You better come up with something quick.
You better come up with something quick.
But here's the other the observation, if you will. If they can and will do that to 8 U.S. senators.
Sitting senators, active senators.
What would they do to you? Dude, if they wanted to corner you up about anything, if you were saying something too loud. Now, obviously, in the era of Trump, that you don't run that risk. But for the time that they were in there, when they were going to people's doors, knocking on the doors, putting long guns and scopes and lasers in people's chests, taking people and arresting them at school board meetings, what would they do to you? Those are just the ones you know about. Dude, can you imagine how many of those things that we never learned about and the spying that we never learned about on the level of senators?
We have called it, I don't believe this to be an exaggeration, we have called it the most filthy and most corrupt administration in the history of this country.
I'd love to see somebody argue against that.
How much more do you continue to need?
Yeah.
How much more do you continue to need to go, wait a minute, so their special counsel was actually spying on the cell phones of 8 sitting Republican senators?
Dude, that's such a great question. How much more do you need? I want more.
Oh, you're going to get more.
I know, and I want it to be to the point.
We didn't know about this until 48 hours ago.
That's right. I want it to be to the point when I walk in the door at Aunt Peg's house, she just turns away. I want it to be that avalanche of the evidence that we know is out there and that we're starting to see the snowball growing of all the lawfare that the Biden administration was using. I want to walk in her house and she changed the channel and changed the subject.
Okay, this is what I suggest you doing to Aunt Peg. Now, you can take this if you want. It's just a suggestion.
So I'm afraid she'll burn the house down.
What you do is you walk into the house and then you kind of spread your legs a little bit, right? Just, and
while sitting on the couch or something?
No. You just kind of just stand in the living room like she's looking at the TV and you kind of spread your legs. Imagine you're kind of getting yourself in a stance like you're getting ready to play defense in the NFL.
Like an athletic stance.
Right. But instead, you kind of put your hands on your knees and you just kind of go wave just a little bit back and forth, right? And you go, Aunt Peg, looks like Comey's going to prison, huh?
That's right.
And as she looks at you, go, hey, I think we got Clapper next.
Yeah, right.
Just wait till you see what we do to Biden and Obama.
Jack Smith going under the jail.
And when she starts to, it's lawfare. You go, this is Trump country.
Yeah. Get out. Get out of here.
Yeah.
That's right.
Say, in Trump's America, we actually deal with criminals, especially the ones that are the highest up.
That's right.
Law and order actually matters now in Trump's America.
Mom Donnie in New York has admitted he has no idea how he's going to pay for all that free stuff next on Extra.
Time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
I've always had a real affection for the Smithsonian Institute in Washington, D.C. My aunt was the widow of a diplomat who negotiated part of the agreement that ended, or should we say suspended, the Korean War. There's an airplane hanging from the ceiling of the Air and Space Museum that my father flew in World War II. The last time I checked, the basket there in the hot air balloon was the same make and model of the one I flew for 1,000 hours. Now Trump is after the wokeism of the Smithsonian. You're probably not going to read a lot about that, but let me share you some of the things about the Smithsonian that has him and a lot of other Americans upset. The Natural Museum of American History. It's no longer about Ben Franklin's kite or the original Star-Spangled Banner. Now it's pride flags and panels about systemic oppression. The Entertainment Nation exhibit shows Mickey Mouse as a legacy of blackface and the Lone Ranger a metaphor for U.S. imperialism. The Smithsonian American Art Museum has a feature now showing sculpture has been a powerful tool in promoting scientific racism. So many exhibits that have nothing to do with race whatsoever find it necessary to insert racism and slavery into every aspect of American life. I'm afraid it would be really depressing to visit the Smithsonian today. Maybe Donald Trump just wants to make Americans proud of the Smithsonian again. Oh, by the way, did I tell you about the artist who withdrew her submission of a statue of the Statue of Liberty? Yep, she was afraid the Smithsonian would reject the statue because she depicted the Statue of Liberty as transgender. Can't make it up. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
Fox on Tech.
The Senate Commerce Committee digging into allegations the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, or CISA, under the Biden administration policed free speech. Republicans argue the agency overstepped its authority by developing internal systems to monitor and flag online speech. Ohio Senator Bernie Moreno asked Sean Davis, founder of the Federalist, about his experience.
I think what maybe my colleagues mean to say is speech that they hate. That's right. Because it's hate speech is in the eye of the beholder. Would you agree, Mr. Davis?
I completely agree. Hate speech, misinformation, disinformation, they're just fancy words that people use to shut down speech they don't like.
Michigan Democrat Senator Gary Peters struck a bipartisan tone.
If there's evidence of wrongdoing on the part of anyone in previous administrations, I want to address it.
With Fox on Tech,
Mike Emanuel, Fox News.
WFOM and WEV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. The 9 a.m. hour is presented by Southern Exteriors. Quality and precision you can rely on.
Agreed to the Gaza ceasefire plan that he brokered.
In a phone call earlier this morning, Prime Minister Netanyahu thanked President Trump for his global leadership efforts to make this all possible.
That's Netanyahu spokesperson Shosh Bedrosian. The president says that all of the 48 hostages Hamas still has will be out probably Monday. That's being cheered across Israel.
Gil Dickman's cousin was killed in captivity, but he's joyful that others will return home safe.
20 of them are going to come back alive. And this is such a happy moment for us, the families of the hostages.
In Gaza, also huge relief that their own 2-year nightmare could soon be coming to an end.
That's Fox's Jonathan Savage. In about an hour, Israeli leaders are expected to sign off on the first phase of this plan.
There will be a ceasefire in place in Gaza, and then the IDF, Israeli Defense Forces, will withdraw to the first of 2 lines inside of Gaza. After that, the hostages, 48 of them expected to be released.
Though for 28 families, they'll be getting remains of hostages killed either in the Hamas terror attack 2 years ago or in captivity. Some Trump supporters want the president to get the Nobel Peace Prize. It'll be awarded tomorrow. This morning, the Nobel Prize for Literature went to an author from Hungary. Some of his books have been turned into movies in this country. Jonathan Rinderknecht is doing court this morning in Orlando for what he's accused of doing in Los Angeles in January. Arrested in Florida Tuesday, he's charged with setting a fire that ultimately sparked the Palisades wildfire that left 12 people dead and thousands of homes burned. U.S. Attorney Bill Asaley tells Fox,
"We've eliminated every other cause of the fire. It was not fireworks. It was not lightning. It was no other cause other than an open flame, likely a lighter."
There's also a hearing today in federal court in Illinois as Democrats challenge President Trump deploying National Guard troops to the Chicago area. America's listening to Fox News.
It's Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and LifeLock is here with tips to help protect your identity. Use strong passwords, set up multi-factor authentication on your accounts, report phishing, and update your software on all your devices. And for comprehensive identity protection, LifeLock is your best choice. LifeLock not only alerts you to suspicious uses of your personal information, but also fixes identity theft, guaranteed, or your money back. So stay smart, stay safe, and stay protected with a 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use the promo code BECK. Terms do apply.
You ever wonder why Verizon charges twice as much as Pure Talk for the same basic service? Think it might have something to do with the fact that Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion. That's billion with a B. Yeah, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. That's why they can offer unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Save an additional 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say the words Micro. That's pound 250, Micro.
No traffic, no big deal. It's the Morning Extra on 106.3.
Tug and Los until 10 on this Stripper Thursday. Which is, I mean, is there a more perfect stripper song than this one? I mean, this is Def Leppard's Pour Some Sugar on Me. I mean, how many times has this thing been played?
It has endless spins at every adult facility.
That's right.
I wouldn't know, though, because I don't go to those things anymore and have not in years and years and years.
Nor do I, but it doesn't change the fact that it's very common knowledge that that's what happened.
In fact, the last time I went, it was for work. I was at a radio company that would have one of their big events at a place that is being sold and going away.
Let me tell you the last time I went.
Uh-oh. So what foreign port were you in, sailor?
No, I know. There's some things.
You were in your dungarees, and your little hat.
Yeah, that's right. How you doing, ladies? Yeah. No, the last time was at a because I'm not a fan, never been a fan. It's just not my thing. I was always felt awkward and uncomfortable. It's you know, and my cousin was getting married. And they're like, we're going to Diamonds and Lace Show Bar in Chattanooga.
Diamonds and Lace,
yeah.
Okay.
I was like, oh, Lord. And we go in there, and it was just miserable. And this woman was doing her thing and, you know, whatever, and had this giant zit. Ugh. I was like, no! Oh, somebody should probably let her know about that. And that time before that, though, was even worse. It was my bachelor party, my father-in-law, and my wife's uncle. They take me to the place. They take me to this place. And I was like, I don't want to do this.
Feels very awkward with your father-in-law.
I'm not comfortable with
that
this.
Stripper's a commie.
Yeah, right. And dude, they set me up, man. They were feeding me shots, and they sent me up on stage. I don't like it. And the night happens the way it happens.
Then they told your wife?
Yes.
Oh no.
So my wife tells me afterwards, she's like, you realize that my daddy was trying to sell you down the river, right? This was, probably a year after we'd been married. She said, we're in the limo going over to the church where we got married. And she's like, my daddy told me what you did. And I was like, well, wait a minute. Well, hang on. What do you mean what I did? Oh, he told me all about the...
Listen here, Cupcake.
Yeah.
He had her face all in her chest.
Yes, all that. Absolutely. And then says, if you want to, we can turn this limo around right now.
Cupcake. They tore his underwear off and everything.
And they had me down to the boxers. They did. And I mean, I'd had lots of shots. So I mean, it was willful, but encouraged. But that was the thing. She said, Daddy says to me, we can turn the limo. They were driving to the church. We can turn it around right now. Here's what he did.
Wow.
Are you sure you want to do this?
He tried to railroad you.
Yes, he did. Totally. I love the man dearly. And to this day, we have a wonderful relationship. But in that moment, I was
winking
like,
again.
Yeah. I'll never forgive you, sir, for what you did. Your treasonous behavior.
That's very scandalous if that's what he tried to do to you.
It is. Yeah.
Telling his brother, if we get him real loaded, maybe we can get this thing all
Yeah, we can
broken off.
derail this whole thing. And but yeah, those are my last two trips, and that mean they've been 20 plus years ago now. But zits and treason.
You want my only one that really matters?
Yeah, of course.
So had the bachelor party in Atlanta. Tattletales, what's up? But then when I got to Huntsville, Alabama, because we were getting married over in the state of Alabama.
Sure.
We were on this lake, and my friends from San Antonio who came in town, my friends from Texas, they're like, we're taking you out. It's like, listen, y'all missed the bachelor party. That was before.
Yeah, we've done that.
And they're like, no, we got to take you out tonight. We went to, you can imagine in Huntsville, Alabama, that the men's clubs are not exactly to the same scale as what you might find here in Atlanta. And a buddy of mine was like, pick out a girl that you would like to have come and give you a dance. And I was like, okay, her. And he goes over to her and tries to talk with her, and she kind of gives him this look. And he goes like, my friend wants to have a dance with you. And she kind of gives him a look. He's like, my friend wants to have a dance with you because it's loud. She grabs at her ear. She was deaf.
Oh, boy, that changes the dynamic.
And that's when I was like, I want to finish this vodka Red Bull, and I want to go home.
I would like to
go home.
Here.
I'm going to get married tomorrow.
Yes, right.
And that was the last time.
That's great, man.
That was the last one.
Yeah, when I was in the Navy, obviously we would pull into port, and guys just couldn't wait to get to a bar or a club. I wasn't that. Like, I was trying to find me a tour. Like, I might never come back to these places again. I wasn't meant to come here the first time. Yeah, I was never. I remember sitting in my 10th grade world history class with Miss Swisher, looking at a picture of the Eiffel Tower or the Mona Lisa or the Coliseum, thinking, I'm never going to be at them, never going to these places, ever going to these places. And 2 years later, I was standing in front of a few of them.
Here's Navy Tug.
Yeah, I wanted to be able to see it. I wanted to be able to take it out. And they made fun of me like I was the biggest nerd in the world. They're
it's
like,
rewarding. I would do it.
Dude, I saw the Mona Lisa. I saw the top of the Sistine Chapel. Things that I may in my life never experience again. And I don't know why in that moment that's what I wanted to do, but that's what I chose to do.
I think that depending on your upbringing, you have a deeper respect for that stuff. Maybe you just have to be an art lover, or maybe you just have to say to yourself in your mind, I'm never going to get this chance ever again. This is what I want to do.
That's the way it was.
Because I think about some of the coolest things I've ever done, and a lot of them have been with my wife, and a lot of them have been like sports events oriented. I can now say, hey, I was on the field at Notre Dame, and I saw George beat him, and it was cool.
And then the Rose Bowl.
And I was over here in the Rose Bowl, and I walked and took pictures with my friends in front of Touchdown Jesus. I mean, like, there's all these things that you say, okay, I've done that. That was really cool. There's no basement in the Alamo, by the way.
Oh, well, how about that?
Just so you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at Jeray's looking at me like, what are you talking about? So if you've ever seen Pee-wee's Big Adventure, He's searching for his bike.
Yeah, it's in the basement of the Alamo.
They tell him it's in the basement of the Alamo.
Yeah.
Turns out there's no basement.
Yeah. But when you describe it the way you do with, the sports trips, I remember coming back, we'd taken a bullet train from where we pulled in on the Mediterranean in Toulon, France, and we went to Marseille, spent a little time, and then train up to Paris and, spent a few days. And I got back, after being there, and, you see all this incredible stuff. I went to, because I'm a huge music guy, I found where Jim Morrison was living when he passed in Paris. And I went to the cemetery where he was buried.
Did you lay down there and absorb his energy?
I didn't, but I was in awe of all of it.
Because there's a bunch of trash on the ground, bunch of junk.
No, there wasn't.
They've had to wall it off now.
Yeah.
A bunch of people were leaving bottles and everything.
Yeah, there was a little bit of that. There was a little bit. But, the arrows, people spray painting on cemetery plots and headstones that were from like the 1500s. You're like, oh my God, that's filthy. Like, I love Jim Morrison, but to paint an arrow on that Jim this way seemed a little much, but it was a cool experience.
So I ask you this. Have you ever been to Philadelphia?
Yeah.
Okay. What did you go see in Philadelphia?
Liberty Bell.
Right. Now, I know it's kind of generic. You're like, all right, Liberty Bell first, maybe the Rocky statue
next. Yeah, we went and saw that.
Yeah. So I'm with you. Like, we were there.
I just want to see it.
Liberty Bell was like 2 blocks away, and I was walking through
Independence Hall,
the colonial era streets, Independence Hall. I thought that was really cool.
Me too, man. I love that stuff.
I love that stuff. When I get a chance, I'm like, let me go see a little bit of that. There's the bar can wait.
Yeah,
all right? Like the bar, the restaurant, the whatever. We'll be at the convention center before you know it. If you got a couple hours, let's sneak away and do this.
I'm glad you said the bar can wait, because I remember coming back to the ship so many times, and guys were like, dude, you were so drunk you threw up on yourself in the cabin. That was their experience. That's what they had done for the last couple days.
Right.
And I was like, I just saw the Mona Lisa. I'm not super cultured guy, but I recognize I can do that.
Yeah.
In Norfolk, Virginia. I can do that in Jacksonville, Florida. The Mona Lisa ain't coming to visit me.
Seattle, went down to the fish market.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
And Mount Rainier.
Went to the Needle.
And then the Space Needle, and then the beautiful setting of the two stadiums right in the
with the baseball and the football.
Yeah, the
so
background
cool.
of the mountain. It's nuts. So gorgeous. You got plenty of time to do stupid stuff. And this was, dude, I'm not the smartest guy in the room ever. This was 18, 19, 20-year-old Tug. I'm glad that I did those things. I'm super proud that I made the decision to see what I did.
I had to panic and leave the Mariners game.
How come?
Because you know how the planes fly directly over the stadium?
I've never been to a game, but I know that happens.
And I had tried some of their local fare, and it was freaking me out. And I was like, I got to get out of this stadium right now. Because I kept looking up at planes, and you're up so high, you can also see the mountain, and it just all got to be too much for somebody who doesn't like heights.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's really
I was like, I got to get out of here.
We got to go.
I'm freaking out, man.
Yeah, that's right. We got to get out of here.
Everybody else stayed.
Yeah.
I was like, I just need to get down to the lowest level.
So what did you just wander around the mezzanine or something?
No, there was a couple little restaurants all right around there, and so I just ducked into one and
need to go get a hot dog, man.
I just need to get some food in me, man. I need something in me.
I'm real hungry.
We got some problems here.
That's right. This is so good. Holy cow. But those are the things, man, that are important in life, I think. And I love being able to share some of that with my son, and I hope it inspires him to do something like that. I remember at the time, calling my girlfriend at the time from under the Eiffel Tower.
I love you, baby. I'm under the Eiffel Tower.
I feel like we were meant to be together. Turns out we weren't. At all.
Then the girl I'm going to hook up with in the future, her dad's going to try and get rid of me.
That's right. Where it all begins. Totally right. Been to New York City a bunch of times. I'm sure you have too. There's great things to see there, whether it's Broadway or Chelsea Market.
My wife's been like 50 times.
Yeah.
I've never been.
You've never been to New York
I've
City?
never been to New York City. No, that's one of them.
Dude, it knocked me over with a feather. I would have never guessed that.
But it's not it is the epicenter of business in this country. But most of the time when it's all centered around travel, my wife and I have it's always a convention center and a convention town.
Yeah.
And so while she's gone there for business, while she's gone there for like window judging during Christmas when they do all the windows and all the great Christmas designs of all the department stores, she would do that every single year, and that'd be like her third or fourth trip every single year. Me, I find myself at some convention hall, in Las Vegas or Arizona, wherever the Super Bowl is or the Final Four is, and outside of 1 year, you don't get the Final Four of the Super Bowl or like big volleyball tournaments in New York.
Yeah, they don't. They
just don't go there.
Yeah, they just don't really need it.
No.
Mamdani is the guy that I'm afraid is going to be the new mayor of New York City. Interesting, because we've talked about his freebies, man. It's so easy to convince somebody, hey, we're going to give you everything free. It's going to be great. This is terrific. So this guy, this will be shocking. I know. It was shocking for me, too. He says he may need a plan B for all these freebies because they're going to cost about $10 billion more, actually more than $10 billion. You don't say.
Really?
You're trying to convince me that everything's going to be free, and then you come back with, I ain't really figured out how to pay for it yet, but listen to this line. Let me give you this line, and I'll let you respond. He said he's open to ideas, but paying for the programs is more important than how the money is raised. What the hell does that even mean?
All right, so that's some fun mumbo jumbo and this is the mistake he's made. You don't tell everybody what you're going to do, and then when you get elected, that's when you tell people about what you can really do. Part of the reason why, and we had this as a lesson yesterday, part of the reason why Donald Trump has done so well in the polls, no matter what the attacks have been, it's because Trump told you exactly what he intended on doing. So those people who did get out and vote, now again, he won the popular and the electoral college, they feel like he's done what he says he's going to do. Talked about ending wars around the world. He talked about economic security here. He talked about getting law and order back in this country, closing the border, and then having a large mass immigration plan to get people out of here. That's what's been happening. Mamdani has done this incorrectly. You can't promise everything because that's typically what the communist does. And then you have to wait until you're elected to then tell people what really happens. You're not supposed to do it before you're elected. He's done this too early.
You went too soon.
Yes.
You peaked too early, too soon.
And to think how much he's been talking about raising taxes and changing. First off, the mayor doesn't have this power.
Right. And Kathy Hochul, who's an insane leftist, we all know her track record. She's not in favor of raising taxes more than they are to cover everything. When you've lost Kathy Hochul, an avowt leftist woman hadn't seen a tax that she does not love, is like, we can't do that. That's too much.
And granted, the mayor can decide city policy.
Sure.
If he wants to alter the bus system or the subway system, this is part of what they can do. But there is state oversight involved in this stuff.
And that's what even Kathy Hochul's like, if we raise the taxes like this, and she's talking about this in session in Albany, because it's up where my wife's from, is Albany. So that stuff comes up in my feed a little bit because I click on it and I try to read about it. She even is saying, we're going to run every corporation off. We're already losing people. We've got to figure out how to keep people, not run them off. When she says, Mamdani, buddy, you're on your own on this one, that's why he's like, well, we got to find a plan B. Yeah, you think?
I've got to imagine that there is a certain amount of desperation living in that community that is driving so much of this. That if you're somebody who's struggling with transportation and the cost of that, he sounds so appealing. Well, if you're going to rent control my apartment so I know what I'm spending, well, okay, that sounds very appealing. But these are all tactics that he does not have the power to do by and large. Now, can he have some influence with what's going on in the city and what they're going to, like, for instance, if you want to alter what the police are actually doing, well, you're the mayor.
You can do it.
You can do it.
And they're police officers, there is a string of them that are saying, we're out. If he's elected,
we're out. I met a New York police officer and her wife, who is a New York City police detective. This has now been like 3-4 years ago. And when the current mayor was coming in, now this is coming off of de Blasio.
So that would be Adams, right?
So Eric Adams.
Yeah.
When de Blasio was leaving, they had already decided, we're out of here. We're buying a place in Florida. We want to have like the freedoms that come along with that. And I go, well, don't you have a new mayor coming in? She's like, yeah, but he's just as bad. Now, as it turns out, Eric Adams, the first 2 years of that administration, they were dead on right. Then once he actually became an enemy of the Biden administration, things changed a little bit. But they're making the right call. They went from de Blasio to Adams to now a full of out communist. No wonder they were getting out of town. No wonder they were like, we're moving to Florida.
Who's going to stay with that? But Mom Donnie, if you've read anything about him, he's convinced that he's going to keep corporations. He's going to keep high net worth citizens in New York because he's going to show them how good it's going to be.
Good luck with that.
Right, of course. That's all, again, that's all mumbo jumbo, just like what he said. Let me go. Paying for the programs is more important than how the money is raised. I mean, that is Kamala Harris level nonsense.
Let me tell you what he's talking about. So when the East Germans, when the Russians recognized that these people went out of here, what'd they do? They built a wall. They kept them in.
And killed them when they were trying to leave.
And if they tried to leave, they shot them. When the Cubans tried to leave Cuba, it was, we're going to have gunboats to shoot you down if you try and get out of here because we need to have our workforce. This is part of what happens in communism. When people try and leave North Korea, there's a demilitarized zone so they can shoot you on your way out. This is going to be, I don't think anyone's getting shot on the way out,
it's going to be a mass
but they're
exodus.
going to do whatever they have to do to keep from the max exodus happening. And I wonder if they'll use the law, if they'll try to use the tax code, what they will try and do to keep people with means from getting out of that city.
What was it, Gavin? I think it was Gavin Newsom. When he said we're going to tax people who've left California some way or other, they'll probably try to figure out something.
They wanted retroactive taxes going back 10 years if you left.
Dude, that's nuts. That's just as nuts as Mom Donnie. They're all nuts. They are all certifiably crazy. I don't know who's going to be signing up for this. Who's raising their hand? I cannot imagine. Let's talk about willful blindness. When you know it's there, but you just pretend it's not. Talk about that next because the Democrats are really, really good at it. On Extra 106.3.
President Trump is restoring freedom, bringing justice back to America, and restoring power to the people. And the conservative voice of Atlanta has his back and will always bring you the national and local voices you need when it matters most. Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
Good morning. Let's talk about Howard Brothers and steel. Now, you might have noticed what Tug noticed. You got it this morning and 2 of the past 3 days. Hey, we're like in the 50s and 60s. It's starting to happen. The weather has been changing. And so for those of you who've lived here a long time, you know what's next. Here come the leaves. Oh, the leaves. That's when you're going to want a steel backpack and handheld blower. They make the fall cleanup quick and much easier. If you need a handheld blower for those small spaces, a backpack blower for bigger jobs, or a professional model to really make those leaves fly, Steel has got it all, and they've got you covered. Find your next Steel product at Howard Brothers. Their friendly team can help find the perfect steel blower to keep those pesky leaves out of your way. The grass is always greener when you take care of it with Steel and with Howard Brothers.
This is Window Nation, your source for affordable replacement windows at the highest quality. So if you've got old, drafty, sticking, or leaking windows, you need the experienced pros at Window Nation. You can pay a lot less and still get the premium windows you're dreaming of. Their custom windows are guaranteed to be a perfect fit, and they're backed by the best warranty in the industry. Go to getwindownation.com or call 866-90NATION for your free estimate. And for a limited time, buy 2 windows, get 2 windows free, plus no payments for 2 years.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and for us at Stovall, this is a cause that hits close to home. My mother, mother-in-law, and now my wife have all battled breast cancer. Over the past 9 years, Stovall & Company has raised over $400,000 for the National Breast Cancer Foundation through our annual Pinktober fundraiser. During the month of October, 100% of the proceeds of our Pinktober plants, as well as 10% of all Rainbird irrigation sales, will be donated to the National Breast Cancer Foundation. Stop by any of our 11 locations or visit our website at StovallInc.com.
Fox on Tech.
Advanced Micro Devices and OpenAI have announced a multi-billion-dollar partnership. The new computing deal will have OpenAI buying AMD chips and allow them to open new data centers. OpenAI is committing to purchase 6 gigawatts of AMD's MI450 chips starting next year. With this news, AMD is going for a little bit of NVIDIA's pie. This is one of the most direct challenges to the reigning chip leader. And OpenAI is also winning out, receiving up to 160 million AMD shares. That's about a 10% stake in the company. AMD CEO Lisa Su telling Fox Business this plan has been in the works for a long time.
We've been working with OpenAI over the last few years, and we've had a very good relationship. They've given us a lot of feedback. Sam Altman was actually at our Advancing AI event in June. But what we said is the world needs more AI compute as soon as possible, and we want to go big.
For Fox on Tech, I'm Madison Allworth, Fox Business.
This is House Call for Health, an encouraging study on school meals. Researchers looking at data from a 10-year-old federal universal free meal program for schools in low-income communities. The program's called Community Eligibility Provision, or CEP. They looked at the medical records of more than 155,000 children in more than 1,000 schools. Results showing the number of students with high blood pressure fell nearly 11% over a 5-year period. Investigators believe the reason being school meals were healthier, which not only helped blood pressure, but also improved a child's weight. The team notes cuts to food assistance programs are threatening access to free school meals. And since high blood pressure in childhood is often carried into adulthood, it can increase the risk for several other diseases. The findings appear in the journal JAMA Network Open. You can get more information about food assistance programs at USDA.gov. Or for more health news, go to foxnewshealth.com. House Call for Health. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your Georgia headlines for Thursday, October 9th. The last of 10 inmates who escaped a New Orleans jail in May has been captured in Atlanta. Authorities say Derek Groves was found hiding in a crawl space under a house after a SWAT team gassed the property and utilized a police dog. The breakout was one of the largest in U.S. history. 9 other escapees have already been apprehended, and Groves' arrest marks the end of the manhunt. Delta Airlines has ranked near the top on Forbes' World's Best Employer list and was named the best employer in Georgia among more than 1,400 companies. The company says its employee benefits, training opportunities, and corporate culture were key factors in earning the recognition. And if you've got Joro spiders building webs around your home, the University of Georgia is asking you to submit photos to its Joro Watch website to help track their distribution and population. The invasive spider first appeared in Georgia in 2014 and can easily be spotted with their large webs and bright yellow bands. Today's weather, partly cloudy and cool, will reach 71 degrees this afternoon. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne for Extra 106.3.
Tug and Los until 10 here on Extra 106.3. 9 o'clock hour brought to you by Southern Exteriors, your home exterior solution since 1999, 8779 Southern, southernexteriors.co. Easy to find them. They'll do you good work. CO! Yes. Easy to remember.
Sorry, I just took my medication. Remember, I'm doing my Elvis thing. I'm on my downer, so I'm behind
That's right.
on the CO call.
It's just a pause.
Right. Like I had to
a delay, if you will.
I had to get the uppers to be ready for the 6, 7, 8 o'clock.
That's right.
But now
You're
you have
on
to
the
take the downers so that I can get out of the jumpsuit and relax
See,
after we're done.
I love the fact that you know. That's you know how to handle it.
Yeah.
That takes some trial and error though.
Got to be measured here.
That's right, absolutely right.
Just don't die on a toilet.
No.
Poor King.
Is there anything worse?
Yeah, it's a tough one.
That's a rough way to go.
Documentary on Netflix of his comeback is a really good one.
Dude, I watched it. That's so strong.
Oh, I also watched Turning Point Vietnam. That one just came out on Netflix. I started that too.
I didn't see that one yet.
It's a tough one.
But I love stuff like that. And I love Elvis. My mama was an Elvis fan. She loved Elvis Presley. And so I grew up loving Elvis Presley. Mom and Daddy didn't love the Beatles. They loved Elvis. They loved Southern gospel, country, and Elvis Presley. And, Elvis would get played occasionally on country stations because that's kind of who he was as a person. He was an old country boy. And he gave credit to a lot of people that he don't get credit for saying, yeah, they influenced my career. A lot of those black blues artists from Memphis and Mississippi that Elvis had so much respect for that he emulated it, and his career blew up because of it. He never hid the fact that they were a huge influence on him.
Oh, yeah.
He talked about growing up because he was really poor when they grew up in the tiny house that they had in Mississippi. And And that's the thing that gets left out so often is people give him, that grief saying, he was able to steal this, or what's the word, culturally appropriate or whatever.
That's how it is now.
Yeah. And that's the way they talk about him. I'm like, dude, he gave more credit to those people that influenced him than anybody. He was so grateful for them. He's like, without them, I had no idea about this music.
Well, that music was, at the time period, was always going to explode. And it was really about who was going to be the person who was going to bring it to you.
Yeah.
Because it really should have been a guy like Chuck Berry.
Of course. And was eventually.
It was eventually.
But didn't.
But not at the time.
Not at the start.
At the time, it was like, man, this guy's a little too wild.
Mm-hmm.
And let's face it.
Singing My Ding-a-Ling and things like that.
Whereas like Elvis was we can market this guy.
Yeah.
It's
absolutely.
the king.
Yeah.
It's just kind of how it all played out. Chuck Berry, I think, was probably about 10, 15 years too early.
God,
to really take advantage of where that was going to be had he just been a little bit further, let's say, mid to early 60s.
One of the greatest guitar players of all time.
Yeah.
And it's not even, I bet he's top 5, top 10 guitar players ever to ever pick up the instrument.
And one of them was going to be the king.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ended up being Elvis.
It's just because he was so easy to market. Babyface, all-American look.
And poor dude, like when you go through his documentary, as far like not like the movie, but
movie was good though.
Movie's fine. Like I said, I watched it. I enjoyed it. But that documentary series on Netflix where the last thing he wants to do is another one of these campy beach movies.
Yeah.
And they got him in like such a crazy deal that he's like, I got to do another one of these. All right, to get the girl in the end. All right, then we play the music.
Yeah. He hated it.
Yeah.
He was so done with it.
Yeah. To see him as an artist, just looking around saying, this is awful. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. And to then know that when he went and did his military service, the colonel had him record all sorts of stuff so that would keep flowing out there even while he was in the military.
Yeah, and that's where he met Priscilla Presley.
Yep.
And that's another good one, too. I watched the movie Priscilla, which is really, really good. And it gives you Priscilla's perspective of all these things. Elvis was no saint by any means. He didn't want to do all this, like Los is saying, he didn't want to do all that stuff. But he was no saint. And that movie really summarizes it, gives you the other side of the pillow, if you will.
Can I tell you the movie that I'm bummed because I don't think we'll ever see another venture into this? Have you seen the numbers for The Smashing Machine?
No, I haven't, but we've talked about it, and then I've seen the trailers, and I want to see it. It looks really good.
Okay, so Rotten Tomatoes, I think the last time I looked, it's like a 77 on the score, which for an MMA movie about a guy who went through a whole lot of crazy problems and has a documentary on HBO, also called the same, and the cast, you're like, okay, it's pretty good. Like, it's a solid movie. This is going to be the lowest grossing rock movie of all time because it's going to make tiny amounts of money because this is his first foray into I'm playing somebody who's real. I'm not doing a Hollywood blockbuster and I'm going to make myself look like this person and I'm going to do actually a pretty good job of acting.
It seems like that happens with some sort of frequency in Hollywood.
I mean, I do remember when Jim Carrey was at like the height of his power and he gave us Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, and everyone's like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
It's like, this isn't The Mask.
No, there's nothing funny.
Where's the slapstick?
That's right.
It's like, The Rock actually did a serious movie, and it's actually good.
And nobody's going to see it.
Nobody will go see it.
Yeah. Dude, being how weird I am, that's the movie I want to go see. Like, I never go see movies. And that's actually one when I saw the trailer for it, I was like, that actually looks pretty good. And I'm not even an MMA guy necessarily. And I've seen the trailers. It looks really good.
It made $6 million its opening weekend.
How much did they make? How much did they pay to make
I think it was like, it's a small budget movie. It's like $50 million.
Okay.
So but remember.
But that's still, you still got some ways to go.
But I mean, he's used to the $300 million movie. Exactly. He's used to the everything explodes and $150 million budget and we're going to go make $500 million. So this was the foray into I'm doing an art piece.
I'm going to be a serious actor. I want you to take me serious. It's not just my muscles. It's not just shoot them up, blow them up.
And again, the numbers, even it's interesting because even when you look at when it comes to Rotten Tomatoes, even the critics give it a good score. And yet, because he's that sort of a movie star, that's what it is.
You remember Dave Chappelle talking about meeting Jim Carrey for the first time?
Yes, when he talked about how he was in the biopic Man on the Moon.
Yes, when he was being Andy Kaufman.
Yeah.
And he's, it's legend almost that he never left his character. And one of it, whoever it was, like Norm Macdonald or somebody, was going to take Dave Chappelle to meet his idol, Jim Carrey. And he was like, I walk in and this MFer is Andy Kaufman. I had to address him as Andy.
Call him Andy.
Dude, that story is so fantastic because I love that movie, Man in the Moon. It's incredible what he was able to do.
He goes like around the world to tell that joke. As far as like it starts off with a story about losing his dad and wanting to meet Jim Carrey, and now he has to show up to where they're filming, and everyone's calling him Andy. And he's got to call him Andy, and he's coming up to him and he's still talking like Andy Kaufman.
Thank you very much.
And now he's got to still pretend he's Andy Kaufman, and he sets all that up just to say, and that's how transgender people make me feel. Like he goes on this 3-4 minute story about meeting Jim Carrey and having to pretend.
That's what makes it gold, though, because you don't see that coming.
And you never see it coming. He goes, needless to say, that's how transgender people make me feel.
Dude, and it knocks you out.
You're like, oh my God.
Doubled over in the seat laughing because it's such genius.
By the way, so this is what Dwayne Johnson ended up posting. It says, from deep in my grateful bones, thank you to everyone who has watched The Smashing Machine. He says, in our storytelling world, you can't control box office results. But I realize you can control is your performance and your commitment to completely disappear and go elsewhere. And I will always run to that opportunity. He looks exactly like him.
It's almost off-putting how much he looks like that guy.
Yes.
The trailer, you're like, you know it's The Rock, and you see it, and you're like, oh, that's the... Man, he looks weird.
He looks like Mark Kerr.
Yeah, he looks like a different person.
It's wild.
He takes on these characteristics that you don't... And it's not like... What's the TV show with the dude in the face, that he's the football player?
Chad Powers.
It's not that.
Oh, I got a new episode that's out. Okay.
Oh, there you go.
2 new episodes. Know what I'm doing tonight after Thursday Night Football?
Something to watch.
I'm going to watch Chad Powers. Now, I'd love to go and see this movie.
Well, let's go.
Pick out some time and go watch it.
Let's go. You and I should go and Dre. We'll all go see it. Maybe
I'm going to look it up.
Maybe after the show one day soon. When there's no volleyball practice or anything that's going to keep you.
I'm looking up AMC Forsyth.
Okay.
That's close to you, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
I'm going to give away exactly where you live, but I'm going to give away exactly where you live.
Let's go. But, yeah, I think it's great. And I look forward to seeing that. Morning Xtra and Extra 106.3. The Democrats have always pretended that this lawfare thing is something new, that it's only something that Trump has brought on for the last several years. It's not anything that we would take part in, not anything we would participate in. And it's amazing, Los, when you see these people sit on the news, and I used this example when we talked about it a little bit earlier, of Jake Tapper pretending not to see the decline of Joe Biden. Well, they told me, what am I supposed to do?
Not until it's time to sell a book.
Yeah, but then all of a sudden...
Suddenly, oh no, we all knew, he's nuts.
It was great. And it worked. Dude, give him credit. It freaking worked.
Caitlin Collins had something to say about this. She talked about how stressful it is covering Donald Trump. She said because he's on Air Force One, she's like, he doesn't sleep, or he doesn't sleep a ton, and he's always looking to talk to somebody.
You never know when he's going to... He can be introducing the ambassador to someplace you never heard of, and then we'll just start taking questions.
The media, during the Biden administration, during the Biden era, we talked about this on a regular basis, they would close up shop at 4 o'clock on Friday, and you would not have to worry about anything until after 10 o'clock on Monday.
What a breeze.
Wasn't like he was going to go out somewhere on a Saturday or Sunday and do a public appearance or talk to anybody or reveal some new legislation. That was not what was going on. So now you have reporters who actually have to work. So like people like Jake Tapper, it's like, was it not surprising that nothing ever came out over the weekend when it was Joe Biden?
You never noticed anything?
You never went like, why does like all of my weekends now completely open while I'm covering the president of the United States?
Yeah, right. And they just acted like it was all good. Everything was just fine. We played a cut earlier of Jeffrey Toobin. Yes, that one, that guy. And if you don't know, just do a quick Google search. You'll find it.
During 2020, he got caught doing perhaps the one thing that would be really awful and embarrassing on a Zoom call. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty, but maybe the worst one.
He didn't have no pants on. Let's leave it there.
That's right.
But this guy was it on MEC?
This was on CNN.
Oh, CNN, there you go.
And they're talking to this person who's explaining, hey, y'all are all concerned about this lawfare, but look what's gone on in the recent past. And as we talked about it, if you told me what happened at Mar-a-Lago, I'd be like, well, the FBI raided the place. They were looking for documents that I believe were actually in reference to Crossfire Hurricane, which was, here was the FBI's action to go after Donald Trump with the Russian collusion case. And that when they couldn't find anything, they then planted top secret looking folders and files in order to stage a photo shoot.
Stick that on there.
That's basically what Judge Cannon in Florida came back with to say to Jack Smith, the special prosecutor, did y'all do this? Yes. Well, this case goes out the window. That was what Eileen Cannon came back with.
Right. And then, but Toobin, he was acting like he was in disbelief, like he'd never heard of this before in his life.
Yeah, take a listen. This is Toobin, who apparently didn't know the main reason why the Mar-a-Lago case went away.
All of a sudden, that when it's Republicans, they're not victims, they're suspects, according to Jack Smith. I think there's been a broader politicization of the FBI. We had an FBI agent plead guilty to falsifying records so that he can get a wiretap on the Trump campaign back in 2016. That happened. You have this BS raid on Mar-a-Lago where the FBI brought cover sheets of top secret and sprayed them around the floor and took pictures. Where did they end up? Right?
The FBI brought those sheets?
They did bring the sheets. The FBI brought the top secret cover sheets and replaced other documents with those, put them on the floor, then took photographs, and then leaked the photographs. That's what.
Never even heard of it. They brought?
It's not a.
There's not the folders?
There's not a chance he didn't hear of it. Now, I think he's playing dumb because, well, surely we're above the fray. Oh, they would never do that. That's what it has to be. There's not a chance he doesn't know that.
Why is it that because of this job that we have been doing for now several years, yeah, there's stuff we have to look up and go, let me remember, that was like 3-4 years ago, and then look into the details. But some of the key aspects of what has gone on in this country, especially when it comes to legal cases with legal ramifications, how do I know that and a guy who's on CNN has no idea, has never heard of it?
He lying. That's how. He's lying. There's no way, dude. There's no way. It's impossible. You don't really believe that he doesn't know.
How do I know how this entire case blew up and Judge Cannon was shocked that the FBI had done this?
My man's a liar. That's the only thing that's convinced. I'm convinced that's the only thing it could be. When we come back, we'll wrap up the show. I want to let you hear, in this man's own words, the insanity of the left in regards to Islamists and transgendered people. Next on the Morning Xtra on Xtra 106.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Thursday, October 9th. From the Major League Baseball playoffs, the New York Yankees are done as the Toronto Blue Jays took Game 4, 5-2, the final last night. Series still in action. The Tigers and Mariners are now tied at 2 games apiece, going to a series-deciding Game 5 after a 9-3 win yesterday afternoon for the Tigers. That series will conclude tomorrow. The Phillies, they'll see another day. They beat the Dodgers out in L.A. last night, 8-2, the final. Game 4 begins this evening at 6:08. The Cubs, they're alive as well after a 4-3 victory over the Brewers. Game 4 will be tonight at 9:08. And from the NFL, the 1-4 New York Giants host the 4-1 Philadelphia Eagles on Thursday Night Football. That'll kick off at 8:15. With their sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
You should never need financing for a simple garage door repair, but it's happening here. Out-of-town companies have invaded Atlanta for a cash grab, charging outrageous prices. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage, Entry Doors, and Windows. Stay local and stay on budget for every opening of your home. All Four Seasons, trusted in Atlanta for over 25 years, exceptional customer service, and fair, honest pricing. When trust matters, trust us. All the number 4 Seasons Garages.
This is Bruce Hagan. The law in Georgia has changed, and if you have been injured in a car crash, it's going to be harder than ever to get insurance companies to treat you fairly. What you need is a real lawyer on your side, not some phony TV or billboard lawyer who doesn't even know how to get to the courthouse. I've been a Georgia super lawyer for 20 straight years, and we try cases and we win. We get results for our clients. Call me, get in touch, hagan-law.com. We are real lawyers who will win your personal injury case.
A golf instructor who knows technique can improve an aspiring pro's swing. But one who really cares can help transform a career.
There he is, your new champion.
When you team up with someone who knows a lot and cares even more, you're unstoppable. At Truist, we believe the same is true for banking. Truist, leaders in banking, unwavering in care. Truist Bank, member FDIC, leading based on top 10 U.S. commercial bank.
Amazon Business offers smart business buying solutions, so you can spend more time growing your business and less time doing the admin. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
This is House Call for Health. Some food and beverage products are getting a more natural makeover at PepsiCo, which owns various brands from Gatorade to Cheetos, and says it's working to replace its traditional artificial dyes with natural colorings. Some alternative dye options could come from vegetables like carrots or beets. PepsiCo says it's been working on the change for years as consumers' preferences have started to shift. Damian Brown is the PepsiCo Vice President of Beverage Research and Development.
So there's a lot to think about when you think about like end to end from material all the way to the product. But look, this is why we all went to college to become scientists and engineers. So it's a great opportunity for us to fix or to solve all these problems.
The shift comes as the Trump administration has called for an end to petroleum-based dyes and food products. PepsiCo says it's still testing new natural formulas for federal approval. For more health news, go to foxnewshealth.com. House Call for Health. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
Securing America.
So help me God. Congratulations. Give him a round of applause.
Secretary of War Pete Hegseth swearing in new recruits Tuesday at the Naval Air Station Oceana in Virginia Beach, telling them,
someday in the future, this will be one of the most transformative days of your life.
Hegseth adding those lives are about to change.
You will be forged, you will be changed, you will be transformed into not an army of one, but an individual part of something greater than yourself.
He also commended the recruits, saying that unlike celebrities and the so-called elites, they are now true role models because
you made a decision that others were unwilling to make.
The secretary closing with this.
Thank you for your commitment to our great republic. Now, you're going to go out and train to fight like hell.
Kevin Uretsky, Fox News.
Extra 106.3 is live on your ride home with a Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder from 3 to 6 p.m.
Your FBI under Christopher Wray deliberately faked investigations on almost 100 Republicans and Republican organizations, which led Jack Smith to file federal charges against Donald Trump that led to the Mar-a-Lago raid. It all started with Christopher Wray.
The Kimmer Show on Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. 9 o'clock hour brought to you by Southern Exteriors, your home exterior solution since 1999. 8779 Southern, southernexteriors.co.
So figuring out some stuff today, by the way.
In what regard? Because we usually figure out a lot
everything.
of things.
Yeah. Like, I'm telling you, like if you've been here, 3.5 hour club, pick it up, Ron.
That's right. Do better, sir.
4 hour club. Y'all are loved, but
Yes,
we figured out a lot of things.
Yes, we have. And we've been through a lot.
And the Joros got a horror story now in my mind of one on giant 12-inch Joro on some man's face.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because we had Swatoon call in and said he was knocking it down. This thing's falling up.
I think I'm going to have to go around the backyard and try and kill a good 20 of them
as best you can.
Get Ugga to eat those things.
Yeah, come on, come on.
He'll eat anything.
Ugga's like Mikey. He'll eat anything. I want to play you this piece of audio because I had never heard such ignorance in my whole life, and I thought that I should share the ignorance with you. And when you hear it, you'll be like, that's the most ignorant thing I've ever heard in my whole life. There's a man who's protesting in favor of the Palestinian people, in favor of Hamas. And listen to who he says should be in charge of everything everything. Listen to this foolishness.
This is the trans flag?
This is the Palestinian flag mixed with the trans flag.
Okay. What do you say to those who say that trans people would be killed in Palestine?
I mean, I don't know about that, but I know that I'm standing here today. At least 50% of the Gazan government needs to be trans women. Like Muhammad herself was, in fact, a trans lesbian.
Muhammad was a woman?
Yeah, Islam is a trans idea. It's a trans religion. Muhammad herself was a proud trans lesbian.
In Iran, the morality police and also in Gaza, they kill trans people. Like, do you think that that's not true? Or?
I mean, I think they're secretly Jews if they do that. Because no Muslim would actually do that.
I thought it was a gag.
Islam is a gay religion.
They asked Muslims in Gaza what you would do with trans people. They said, we don't have that here. We kill those people.
I mean, I don't know, but that's why we need to protest harder, that we need at least 50% of the Palestinian government to be trans women.
So, I mean, this dude. I thought I didn't think there for a second.
The reporter is so patient.
I would very simply say, I have the money for you to go visit one of these countries, and I would like for you to take your drum and take all your plans, and I would like for you to explain to anyone on the street that in this case, who they might view as their messenger is a trans woman.
I'm telling you, dude, I thought it was a gag. I was waiting. I watched the whole thing. It was like 12 minutes or whatever. I kept waiting for the dude to be like, gotcha! You know, just like, you're a right-wing conservative. I gotcha. And it never happened. This dude was dead serious. I thought there couldn't be a way. This dude's making it up. He's trying to pull your leg.
If that person found themselves in the wrong country, let's say, for instance, they went to go visit the Palestinians, they would find the biggest building left to throw him off of.
Well, I've not heard of that. That's what he said. Because that's the way the reporter opened it.
And by the way, that's if you're gay.
Right.
That's why I'm saying, like, they might be like, oh, it's 10 stories for gays. And for whatever you are, sir,
50 stories.
Let's see if we can do something from higher.
Yes, the big. I could not believe it was real. That's how. But it does tell me. It does give me some insight on that 18%. How brainwashed they are. How when they watch the news or go to places like Blue Sky that will echo everything that the narrative says they should believe, and the narrative says they should parrot, and the narrative says they should say. That's how brainwashed they are, that they truly believe all of this. It was eye-opening for me. Now, obviously, my Aunt Peg isn't quite that far gone, I don't think. But now I know why she says the things she does, or she posts the things that she does, because she's right. She's right in line. She's whatever they say, that's what we're saying. That's what I believe.
There's something lacking behind the eyes in that person.
Yeah, I'm nuts, completely crazy.
And if I may, you can see them whenever they're asked a question, their eyes dart in this way where they're trying to think of the programmed answer.
Dude, you're exactly right.
That's the weird part about it. It's like you're saying, like, where did the person get this from? They've been given a programmed answer. You can see them accessing that part of the brain of, what am I supposed to say to this? And then you get the programmed answer.
Dude, that was like nothing I'd ever heard before. We've played some interesting audio.
Played some nutty people before.
Nutty people.
I love nutty people.
That is the nuttiest thing I've ever heard. It may be in my life, but definitely since we've been doing this show in 4+ years. Nothing that crazy that I'd ever heard before. So that's why I wanted you to coast into Glenn Beck going, wow.
4 Hour Stephanie made it a point about her master's degree in the history of religion. Yeah. She's like, I must have missed the day.
Yeah.
When Muhammad was considered a proud trans woman.
That's right.
Dude,
how brainwashed
in
do you
fact,
have to
the
be?
next thing I would tell that gentleman is, well, why don't you depict Muhammad as a proud trans woman and see how they think about that, Charlie Hegbo?
You should, right.
You know? Why don't you see how that works?
Let's get an oil painting going. A big one. And let's tote it around, see what happens.
Wow.
Dude, that is next level.
There's
crazy.
places in New York where if you did that, you'd have a real bad problem.
if he did it where he was standing.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, he would have had a real bad problem.
Would have been bad.
It would have been all. They would have beat him senseless.
Like, I would have had to stop you. I'd be like, please stop.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, look how we're ending.
Yes, Dolly's not dying.
Dolly Parton post video. I'm not dying.
Turns out it was kidney stones.
Ow.
Okay, well, you know what? Knock on wood, wherever. I would like to think that the way I choose to partake in food consumption has avoided such things.
Mm-hmm.
But that is one of my great fears in life, as far as something ain't gonna kill you.
I've had it one time.
That'll make you miserable.
One time. It was the most pain that I've ever felt in my existence. It was awful. So when Dolly's sister was saying, I'm praying for her all night, because she's hurting. She's hurting real bad. But it wasn't cancer like immediately, was what I thought. Immediately. Because so many people deal with that. So yeah, Dolly's not dying. That's good.
Stay hydrated, Tug.
That's right. Absolutely. Drink a lot of water. I do. That's what I drink for the rest of the day. I have my energy drink in the morning. That's my caffeine. I don't drink coffee. And so I don't have any of that. That's what gives me a little
high animal protein. Diets heavy in red meat, poultry, or fish. Higher acidic levels leading to acidic stones.
That sounds like propaganda.
Calcium.
That's Democratic propaganda. Get out of here
with all that.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Just mix in a little something.
Yeah,
there,
absolutely.
that's all.
Yeah. I've not had them in probably 18, 15 years or so. And it was just that one time.
This guy I used to work with who would deal with
cheeseburger,
that and gout all the time. And I was like, why do you keep eating yourself into this thing?
Yeah, holy cow, man.
I was like, you're eating yourself into these problems.
Bad case of the gout. There you go. That'll do it for us. Thank you for being here. 404-741-1230 at Extra 106.3 across the social media platforms so everyone will reach us. For Front Office Los and Dre, I'm Tug. Y'all come back now, you hear?
Live and local news talk continues at 3 p.m. with Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. It's the Kimmer Show, only on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.